Empire. Move to Riverside. Now, here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
What is up? Welcome to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. It's been a big week, Jeff.
Unbelievable.
Man, so many breaking news, and we had the Pokemon professor on the show. It's just been a wacky week. You just never know what you're going to get.
Holy cow, this is our 25th show. 25!
Unbelievable.
5 weeks we've been doing this. That's 5 more weeks than I thought we'd make it.
And we've got another big show. We've got more breaking news. We're going to have, Justin Bell, the new interim head coach at UC Riverside, on a little bit later in the show. Nate Meadors, UCLA defensive back. Edwin Weathersby from the Army All-American Bowl. I think your boy Yancy Dodson's calling in.
Yeah,
he's got your back
Yancy.
about being a tennis guy.
Yes, he does. I'm telling you, man, I could play. I wasn't as good as Yancy, but playing for the Victoria Club I was playing with a lot of seniors, but I was dominating those seniors. Played quite a bit. I was playing twice a week.
With your flashing shoes on? Or was that
I can't wait. That'll be later in the show. I'm going to show off my Yeezys, my flashing Yeezys.
Things we do for the family, right?
Yeah, of course. I got to wear them for the family.
And Jim Alexander from the Press Enterprise is in studio. What's he been working on lately?
I think he's got a few things he can talk about, for gosh sakes. Holy cow.
Well, this is your 25th show, right?
25!
I want to make sure you guys get it to 26. So
there we go.
I'll try and be kind. But, yeah, there's been a lot going on.
That would be much appreciated. We also have Jim Alexander here. And, again, some breaking news throughout the show that we'll sprinkle in here. It's a Friday. We're going to get you set for UCR and UC Santa Barbara coming up on Saturday night at the 9 o'clock tip-off. Jeff and I will have that call. It's all brought to you by our good friends over there at Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. You'll be spoiled by excellent customer service and low prices. And you can give Bill Navigato a big hug when you go over there. Jeff, you need to get over there soon.
I better.
Driving to Santa Barbara. Get over there.
Got to go get my air filter changed, all those good things.
Wiper blades, although if you look outside, I guess you don't need wiper blades anytime soon here in the IE.
You might next week.
Next week.
Oh, might get some rain.
The meteorologist, weather forecaster, and columnist.
All I know as far as weather is what I see on Channel 9.
Hey,
so.
There we go.
Jim just brings doom and gloom wherever he goes, right? Bringing in the storm clouds. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I got a one-liner, but yeah, let's move on.
Kids Sporting Goods, more than 40 years right here in the Inland Empire with all your sporting gear needs, and they got all those awesome Letterman's jackets. So if you're an athlete out there, hit up Kids Sporting Goods for that Letterman's jacket. Boost performance training in Corona. You can go see Coach Ray Bass, and he had a picture on Instagram the other day where they had, remember I've been telling you, Jeff, the lacrosse guys, the golf guys, the football players, the baseball players, whatever sport you're in, you can head to Boost, and Coach Ray Bass is going to get you to that next level.
Pretty darn good, that Ray Bass. He's got good hair.
Great hair, yeah, when he's flying around.
Yeah, you're an expert on that, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Nobody knows hair like Jeff, right?
No, I just envy everyone.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I know, man. I can see what the direction of the show is already going on a Friday. And Catalano Motors in Corona, off Temescal Canyon Road. You can buy, trade, and finance. But Derek Catalano, he'll make that car shopping experience very easy and very smooth, just like Jeff said. All right. Couple big headlines real quick on a Friday before we dive into Jim Alexander, what he's been working on at the Press Enterprise. So it looks like John Gruden to the Raiders. Looks like it's a done deal. Could be upwards of $100 million.
Come on. $100 million to pay Chucky?
That's a lot of money, man. They want to bring him back. They want to usher in that new Las Vegas era, right? Come on.
They better never lose. If you're going to pay a guy $100 million, you better never lose a ball game.
Like
ever.
10 years.
Good luck with that.
About $100 million.
Oh, good golly.
So it looks like John Gruden to the Raiders is a done deal. How about Trevor Oaks? We had Jim in, what was it, a week or two ago talking about
2 weeks ago.
Trevor Oaks, could he crack the Dodgers rotation? Well, he's definitely not going to crack the Dodgers rotation.
He's not this year.
He's been traded to the Kansas City Royals, so we'll talk to Jim about that as well. So we're excited for Trevor Oaks, former Woodcrest Christian and Cal Baptist pitcher, now a member of the Kansas City Royals. And our friend of the show, Pete Smolin, Jeff.
Yes.
Head football coach at Citrus Valley. He's popped up again. He's the running backs coach now at the University of Redlands.
So he's got to be excited about that. That's a good hire.
Yeah, that's a really good hire. He's a local guy, longtime football coach. Now he gets to stay in Redlands and coach at the U of R, so it'll be good for him.
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to sprinkle a little bit of Jim Alexander throughout our first couple segments here in the show because there's a lot to talk about.
There's quite a bit.
I know. Hi, Jim.
How you doing?
How's it going?
Oh, I'm having a great week. I don't know about anybody else.
Oh, my goodness. Well, obviously, the big news that went down, and it was as we went into the new year, was Dennis Cutts being released as the head basketball coach at UC Riverside and associate head coach Justin Bell stepping in as the interim head coach. And, of course, you grabbed your pen and pad and you went to work.
Yeah, it was a little disconcerting because I'm sitting there New Year's morning watching the Rose Parade, watching the Mission Inn float.
Trying to have just a good time, right?
Trying to have a good time, and my daughter was a volunteer on that float, by the way.
Oh, very
cool.
cool.
The plug, and the fact that it won an award at the Rose Parade.
Oh,
was
it did?
just
I didn't know
awesome.
that.
It won the Golden State Award for best representation of the state or something like that.
It was
But
cool.
Really,
I didn't know that, yeah.
It was really a cool parade. But, just sitting there watching the Rose Parade, watching the Winter Classic, what have you, and then I get this email that UC Riverside has fired its men's basketball coach.
And right
Not knowing at the time the full circumstances of how it happened, when it happened, etc. But no.
So as soon as you read that, did you think, oh my gosh, I've got to write about this. I got to call people. I got to get a quote from somebody. I mean, what was your initial reaction?
My initial, no, I'm not going to. I will not mention my initial reaction.
It's a family show.
So, darn, I have to do a little work on New Year's Day. So my editor said, well, just go ahead and do the news story, and then you can come back the next day and follow it up. So
Yeah, so for your,
what I did.
I know where Jim's coming from because for his own selfish reasons, he's like, oh man, here I am. It's nice and warm in my house. I'm watching the parade. I got hockey on TV.
We got
You don't wanna-
relatives coming over.
Yeah, you don't want to
dinner
work.
and
I've been
this.
there.
Yeah.
I get that. I totally get that.
So
So as you started to dig a little bit deeper, what did you discover?
it's it's an interesting situation over there. I mean, the one thing that struck me the most about this, beyond the fact that there are a lot of people in the UCR athletic department that are not really pleased with the direction of the UCR program right now. But beyond that, the thing that struck me most is that if you make a personnel decision, you stand by it, and you'll be accountable for it, and you'll answer questions about it. I mean, how many times has there been a coach firing and the general manager or the athletic director or whatever gets up and answers questions and says, this is why we did it, and at least tries to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. The press release comes out Monday. It's got quotes from Tamika Smith-Jones, the athletic director. It's the traditional statement, the nationwide search, and going in a different direction and all this. But she declined the next day to answer any further questions. In fact, as I mentioned in the column, I showed up at basketball practice because I was going to talk to Justin Bell and talk to maybe a player or two and find out how they were handling this. And she happened to be in the building. She happened to be in the gym. And so we exchanged pleasantries, and I asked, can I talk to you later, either in your office or give you a call and get some elaboration, get some additional details.
That's what you do.
Well, I'm on a conference call. I'm not going to be able to do it. I don't know if I'm going to be in the office in the afternoon. I said, well, look, I'm writing the column either way. The column's going to appear in Wednesday's paper. It's going to be online this evening. Better that you provide input, that I have a chance to quote you and get your take on this. And she kind of said, okay, we'll see what happens. And I have not seen her ever dash as quickly as she did to get out of the gym shortly after that.
Well, from the coaching side of it, I think a lot of people were just scratching their heads at the timing of it, right before Big West Conference play.
Yeah. And my feeling is that when you coach in the Big West, November and December, it's not a throwaway, but you don't take non-conference records seriously because it's a one-bid league, And the only weekend that really counts in this league is the second weekend of March in Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
And everything you do builds to that crescendo. So November and December for figuring out what you have. January and February are for establishing seeding, making sure you're among those 8, and getting better as the season goes along. So why you would fire a coach at midseason baffles me. I mean, it's something that's not done on the college level, because even in major conferences, you have an understanding that the conference season is where it is. That the non-conference games, okay, maybe they're meaningful, maybe they affect your RPI, but that's not the be-all and end-all. So that was the most baffling thing about all this.
Yeah, and I think, especially when you're in the Big West team, you're going to play a variety of different kind of styles, because you see so many different variety of styles in the Big West itself. So you're going to play the bigger schools, you're going to play the Michigans, and you're going to take your lumps against some teams.
Exactly, and teams play divergent schedules.
They do.
I mean, like Long Beach last year, I think it was a death march.
Yeah.
I mean, they played a bunch of big schools, and they had a horrible non-conference record coming in, and then they were decent. I mean, they were good. Some schools will play a bunch of stiffs. They'll load up with D2s and NAIAs, and so there's really no way to tell who's good and who's not until you start playing each other.
And they had 3 really signature victories. I know Cal is down this year, but you still beat a Pac-12 team on their floor.
Exactly.
You beat Air Force. You beat Valpo. You played a really good, and I'm telling you this, I think Portland State is one of the best teams I've seen all year. And I saw they gave Duke a game.
They gave Duke a run shortly after that.
You play in the WAC. It's almost impossible to win in those WAC schools. Pep was at Grand Canyon. I was at Utah Valley. And Seattle University was just
good
as
basketball.
I mean, very good basketball. Seattle University was just as good as Portland State, and those are quality opponents that do. All 3 of those schools shoot the ball well. Portland State was athletic; they ran that fast break system. Michigan was just overbearing and tough, but Cal would be a very good Big West school, and they took care of them. And I think Coach Cutts built this team for the Big West, and he had said that prior to the season. I think this is built for February, March.
It didn't get a chance to see it through.
Yeah.
And the thing about the WAC, as you're talking about, and there's 2 points that we need to make. I mean, everybody thinks of the WAC as a collection of leftovers because of the turbulence that conference has had over the years. But they're not a bad basketball conference. There's some, Bakersfield's going to be coming into the Big West in couple years, I guess, or is it next year? I don't remember.
It's 2 seasons.
But they're a pretty good
They've
representation.
gone to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, they have. There's some good basketball being played in that conference, maybe better than what's being played in the Big West right now. So if you're going to say, well, you lost the 2 WAC schools, that's not a disgrace. And the other point I want to make is the school across town is going into the WAC next year, and I wonder how much of that comparison between what Cal Baptist is putting out there and what UCR is putting out there, how much of that led to this decision? If maybe Tamika is threatened because of what they've got out there.
Jim, hold that thought. Can you hang with us for a little bit longer?
I can.
We're going to take a break. We'll talk more about the UC Riverside basketball situation, get you set for the Gauchos and Highlanders coming up on Saturday night. Also get Jim's thoughts on Trevor Oakes. Is the Royals a better situation than the Dodgers for our local guy, Trevor Oakes? We'll talk about that when we come back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
We're a small family-owned, strive for quality pre-owned vehicles. We're not a volume dealer, and we take every deal as personal to us. We're a low-stress environment. We're not a pressure sales house. If you want to shop us, you're more than welcome to shop us. We have, like I said, great rates, competitive financing, a lot of one-owner, clean Carfax, clean title vehicles. As you see, we have Carfax everywhere. That's most important to us, to educate our customers before they make a purchase. We're right off of Ontario, right off a couple exits off the 15 freeway, off Cajalco, off El Cerrito, and we're right on the main drag going into Dos Logos and the crossings. We have great financing, we have great lenders that we're using. We do buy, sell, trade, cash for your car. Whatever we need to do to help accommodate the customer, that's what we're here for. We have a little bit of everything. We start at about $69.95 and go all the way up to $100,000. We have Escalades, we have commuters, we have pickup trucks, we have Jeeps, sport utilities, and if we don't have it, our specialty is finding you exactly what you're looking for.
When I close my eyes, I see this thing. It's like this big sign. And the name is in like bright blue neon lights with like purple outline. And this name is just so bright and so sharp that the sign, it just blows up because the name is just so powerful.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Corum.
And we are back on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. We got Jim Alexander from the Press Enterprise standing by. It's a big Friday show. We're weaving in all these big guests, Jeff, and right now we're going straight to the spoiled, quick quality oil change celebrity hotline. He's a friend of the show, man. It's a real treat here on a Friday. It's UCLA defensive back and the pride of San Gorgonio High School, the great Nate Meadors. Nate, how are you on this Friday?
I'm doing pretty well, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Nate, we're fired up about it. Talk about coming off another strong season at UCLA. I mean, you had a pick six this season. When you look back on this year with the Bruins, what are some of the things that you're going to remember?
I think we had some good players. We had a good mindset going into the season, man. We just didn't bring it all the way together, but I think I had a good time this season. I was able to improve myself, and I feel like a lot of the young players on the team improved. So I think it was a pretty good season.
Now, of course, Chip Kelly's coming in there as the new head coach for UCLA football. Are you excited about that? I know Coach Moore was very popular with the guys, but Chip Kelly's coming in, and he's got some NFL pedigree as well. Are you excited about Chip Kelly coming in?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I appreciate Coach Moore so much because he got me the opportunity to come to UCLA, and I'm thankful for him. But yeah, I've had a conversation with Chip Kelly, and I do like him so far. So I'm pretty excited for what he's bringing to the table.
We got Nate Meadors here on the line on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. So Nate, I mean, NFL could be in your future. Have you made a decision? What do you think you're going to do?
I'm not sure yet. I'm just blessed to have this opportunity to make this decision, but I'm still talking about it with my family and my coaches and my close people around me. So I haven't made that decision yet.
So what's the deadline date on that when you have to declare if you're going to enter the draft?
The 15th.
The 15th. So it's actually coming up. It's actually like 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks away. So are you stressing about it, or is it something that, you know what, whatever decision you make, you're going to be fine with it and just go forward?
Yeah, any decision is a win-win for me. So it's just a matter of which one I feel I'm ready to commit to and which one I feel like is right for my career.
I'm curious. Growing up here in the IE, what was your NFL team? Did you have a favorite or a favorite player growing up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was a big Saints fan growing up due to Reggie Bush first going there, but I ended up just sticking with him, so I'm a big Saints fan.
So Reggie Bush, but he was a USC guy, Nate. Is that all right?
Yeah, man. I mean, growing up in IE, man, growing up watching Reggie, I used to watch him every Saturday for USC, so he was a big idol for me.
Now, when you guys used to come out to Camp Coyote at Cal State San Bernardino, I used to joke with you saying, man, I really want to see UCLA use you on the offensive side of the football. I told Coach Moore, I'm like, I got plenty of highlights of Nate Meadors running the offense. He can throw the football. He can catch the football. Like, let's see this guy on the offensive side of the football. But does that even cross your mind still, or are you just a defensive guy now?
Man, I've just been a defensive guy, but, I mean, I don't know. Let's see I'll see what Chip Kelly here got in store for me. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah, we saw Dory Jackson do it at USC. I mean, back in my day, Charles Woodson at Michigan did it a long time ago. So, I mean, other guys have done it. You could do it too.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. It's just a matter of if I can be put in that situation or not. But we'll have to see about that one.
Now, you're a defensive specialist, and people are talking and mentioning you in the same breath with DeAndre Baker of Georgia. I mean, in the Pac-12, you led the conference with 353 snaps without giving up a touchdown. That's a pretty impressive stat. And, you know, our scouts, do they come – I mean, I don't really know the situation. Do they come over and talk to you about where you might be in the draft? Has that ever been brought up?
Not really. I just have a kind of good idea of where I could be put at, but I feel like I could improve it with my times and stuff if I were to come out of school.
We got Nate Meadors here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Nate, UCLA, they always crank out a bunch of guys who go to the NFL, so I'm sure you've had teammates there with the Bruins who have gone through this process, have had either make a decision to leave early and go into the NFL draft, or maybe they're graduated from UCLA and they're starting their NFL careers, but you've seen other guys go through this process. Have you had a chance to maybe lean on some of these other guys and get their advice, maybe recommendations on, things that you should consider when, hey, do I leave a little bit early and enter the NFL draft, or maybe come back for school for another year? I mean, because you've seen guys around you have to go through the same thing. Yeah,
definitely. Guys like Fabian Moreau, I talk to him often. He gives me some advice. And Kenny Clark, of course. I'm real good friends with him, so I'm able to ask him stuff and see what made him make his decision, and I'm basing my decisions off of kind of what he wants to do.
Well, Nate, whether you decide to enter the draft or not this year, but I mean, the NFL's on the horizon, like you said. It's a win-win for you. You either go back to UCLA and play for an awesome coach like Chip Kelly, or you start your professional career. But just know that it's on the horizon, and it's so close to becoming a reality. I mean, how does that feel for you, and maybe more so for your family too, your parents? I mean, because man, I'm assuming they're just so proud of you and what you've done at UCLA.
Yeah, definitely coming. It's been a long time coming. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know how to put it in words. It's just, you grow up, like, setting your goal and trying to make it to the NFL, and then when you're almost there, it's like, man, it's so close. But, yeah, I'm just really grateful for the opportunity and grateful I can provide for my family in the future.
Now, if you look back at your few years here at UCLA, what stands out as you think you played your best game? Is there anything that stands out there you go, I was pretty good that game?
My best game, I don't know. I feel like I've just had different. I showcased different things in different games. So I don't know. I couldn't pick just one game, but
how about that pick six this year, man? That must have felt good.
Oh no, that definitely felt good, man. That was probably one of my best games. It finally felt good to score a touchdown since I haven't in a couple of years. So
yeah, the end zone missed you, man. Wanted to see you again.
Now is Is there any wideout that you covered over your career that you said, I stopped that guy? You look at maybe somebody playing in the NFL right now, or just somebody you look at and you go, that guy was really good, and I stopped him. Is there anybody you look at and you go, that's the guy I stopped?
Man, I don't know. I stopped a lot of receivers, so I don't know.
Too many to even list, Jeff.
Yeah.
too many guys you shut down. It's the great Nate Meadors out of San Gorgonio High School, UCLA defensive back, and a friend of the program, enjoying a great career at UCLA. And again, the NFL still in front of him. So Nate, you just finished your season now, and of course, the big decision about the NFL. But how do you treat the off season? I mean, do you let your body rest for a couple weeks? Do you get through the holidays and you kind of ramp it back up again? I mean, what do you do in the off season?
I took about a week off, and I'm already started working back out. So it's not really no off season. It's just time to just work on my craft and get better this off season and make even more improvement for next year.
So speaking of that, how about the scouting report on Nate Meadors? If I was doing a scouting report on you and I said, you know what, there's an area that Nate Meadors wants to improve on to get draft ready, where would you say things are that you're working on to be draft ready?
Just continue trying to learn the game and just recognize routes even better and just get stronger and faster. There's always room for improvement. So, I mean, really anything I could improve on.
Well, Nate, we really appreciate the time. Please don't be a stranger. And if you make a decision on the NFL, we'd love to hear about it, man, because we love having you on the show.
Definitely, man. I love being on here.
Well, it's the great Nate Meadors, the pride of San G and UCLA defensive back on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Nate, we appreciate it. Good to talk to you, and let's do it again soon.
All right, then, man. Enjoy the new year.
Thanks,
all right,
Nate.
Happy New Year's, Nate.
All right, then. I'll talk to you.
All right, that's Nate Meadors breaking it down. That's a big decision, I mean, of course he wants to go to the NFL, but it's like you come back, you do one more for UCLA, and then go to the NFL, or just make that leap.
I mean, think about it. The guy, he led the Pac-12 in snaps without giving up a touchdown. That's an impressive stat. There's only a few other programs or conferences in the country that can say that, and he's the best there is for UCLA and the Pac-12.
We could have a lot of guys in the draft. We just had Kylie Fitz on the show.
Kylie Fitz.
He was a senior. He's been in college football for a long time, but he's finally going to the NFL draft.
He's 47 years old.
Come on. No, he's a friend of the show.
Okay, he's 35.
Such a good dude, and he's definitely going to hear his name called. I think they were projecting him like a 4th or a 5th round pick. And Nate Meadors, if he chooses to go. If not, he'll have another great season for the Bruins.
He's played for Chip Kelly.
It's not too bad.
Not bad.
Getting Chip Kelly on the show.
We're gonna
Jeff.
get him on. We're gonna.
You, Jeff.
Gotta talk to my brother, the crazy brothers Gorham over there in New Hampshire. Better get him on.
There goes those Gorham boys, coast to coast.
Hey, man, since my brother's friends with him, you think he'd just say, "Hey, get on the show."
That's right.
Jerk.
All right, we're working on Chip Kelly, but a big thanks to the great Nate Meadors out of San Gorgonio High School, breaking down his NFL draft potential and possibility. Yeah, it could happen. So he's got till January 15th to make that decision. When we come back, more with Jim Alexander from the Press Enterprise. We've got Edwin Weathersby from the Army All-American Bowl a little bit later down the road. And we also have Justin Bell, the interim head coach of the UC Riverside men's basketball team, as they will take on UC Santa Barbara tomorrow night, 9 p.m. You got to stay awake, Jeff.
That's a late night. I'm in bed by like 8. I have a 1-year-old. Remember that. I go to bed when he goes to bed, so when he wakes up, I have to,
you have to wake up too.
I'm on his schedule. Exactly.
You're exactly right.
Yep.
We'll be right back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
I played once upon a time at Centennial High School. I was actually on the first ever CIF championship team back in 2000, and then my senior year we won it again. I think that's my passion because I've done it. I know exactly where these athletes are at. I know what their mindset is right now. I know how hard it is to, number one, find a performance coach who can take you to the next level. What sets us apart has to be, how we work with our athletes and what we know. can take an athlete and help them reach their athletic potential, help them, prevent injuries, help get them stronger. I know every single athlete who steps into this gym. I know exactly where they're at, and I'm going to progress them every week. If you're not getting results, then what's it about? We're going to deliver something that's measurable, in terms of speed, power, strength, agility.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
The Inland Sports Show. Here's Pep and Jeff.
Welcome back to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Again, a big shout out to Nate Meadors out of UCLA. Will he go to the NFL? Will he stay at UCLA?
That's a tough one. I mean, if he can provide for his family and make some big dough, and if he's close enough to graduate, maybe you go back after you have made a little bit of money.
I know I never had to make that decision. I know it's a big surprise to you guys. You look at me and you're like, man, I thought you were going to the NFL. I know, I didn't.
Soccer, kickball, they didn't offer you big bucks?
Yeah, can you believe that?
But here's the deal. You have a choice between playing for free and getting paid.
No,
to me, it's no choice at all.
Yeah, no brainer.
To me, you go.
Yep.
If he's that good, I'm sure he's consulting with people around the game. They're like, hey, you're going to be 3rd-round pick, 4th-round pick. This is the kind of money you're looking at.
Yeah.
Or do you go back for 1 year, try to raise your stock? But I don't know.
See, that's the one thing about the NFL and the NBA draft rules that I sort of have a problem with, and I like the way baseball does it. Because if you're a high school player or if you're like a junior year in college, you can be drafted and you have leverage. You can make a decision. Do I want to go? Do I want to come back to school? And it can be an informed decision because you have all that information. football and basketball, you're sort of flying blind, and you have to declare before you really have any idea, do I have a shot at getting drafted high?
Exactly.
We'll see what Nate Meadors does. He's got about a week and a half, something like that.
Yep.
So still to make a decision. So we'll let you know right here on the Inland Sports Show what is up with our good friend Nate Meadors. I want to talk about Trevor Oakes and the Dodgers and the Royals and all that. But first, let's circle real quick back around to UC Riverside. So, Jim, where do they go from here? Justin Bell is the interim head coach, so he'll see this out through Big West Conference play. But there's a lot of names out there floating around as possible full-time head coaches, and Justin Bell's name is in the mix. But what have you been hearing?
I've been hearing the same stuff you have. There's a lot of names floating around. I'm not hearing anything from the source, obviously, because Tamika has not chosen to share any of that with me, and I suspect she's not going to for a while.
No.
But my feeling is, and I've heard this from other people, where, well, she's going to try and make a splashy hire. She's going to the whole nationwide search thing. That's sort of the
just protocol, right?
That's the traditional thing you always put in a press release. I mean, when it comes down to it, I would imagine. Well, most athletic directors have a ready list. They have like 3 or 4 names in their desk, and if something happens, if they have to fire someone or if someone leaves for another job, then you start to go down the list.
Or you have someone in mind, right?
You have someone in mind. That's the old Mark Cuban thing. Never fire your coach unless you have somebody in mind to replace him.
Hence the Raiders, right? I mean, like Jack Del Rio didn't have a bad run with the Raiders.
No, but if you got a chance to bring Chucky in.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it just seems like you would almost have to have a name, in mind. And what happens to, Justin Bell, Wilkerson, Rim, and Weathers? Those guys almost, even if they want to coach the entire year, they still have to, in the back of their mind, look for another job. You have to. You're a college basketball coach. You're always looking for your next year.
You've gone through it, Jeff.
Yeah,
right?
and it's you got to almost, even though you're coaching right now, you're still going, gosh, I am probably not going to be here next year. I got to look for a job.
That's really a tough situation. And talking to Justin, his attitude is, I'm going to do what's right for these kids. I'm going to do what's right for the university.
Yes.
And the one thing that he said that struck me is, I'm doing this for UCR. I'm doing this for the guys that came before me, as well as the guys that are here. And to me, that's admirable. But when you're talking about pure business and what am I going to be doing next year, that gets in the way, because do you pour everything into this year and not worry about next year until the season ends? Or are you keeping an eye out? Are you sending resumes out? I mean, and the entire staff. I mean, Brian Weathers and Byron Rim and Wilkerson, I mean, they've all got to be thinking about this. It's got to be keeping them up at night. What happens next?
It's keeping me up at night. I'm not even on the staff because those guys are my friends.
I know, because we talked about this before. We can talk about the Raiders and John Gruden and Del Rio getting fired, but when we talk about UCR, that hits so close to home. We know these guys on a personal level. They have families and they're married and they have kids and there's mortgages and all that kind of stuff.
And see, that's the thing, because especially at the higher levels of sport, you're talking about guys getting fired or what have you, or getting reassigned, and it's almost like it's fantasy sports.
Yeah,
they're chess pieces. I mean, you swap one for another. You forget. They've got wives, they've got kids, they've got mortgages.
School districts. Where are they going to school?
And that's a heck, and it's an unstable business anyway. But if you all of a sudden find out, okay, I've got to be looking for a job, I mean, that takes a toll not only on the coach, but on his family.
Yeah, absolutely.
It compounds the entire situation.
Yeah, and it's something that we don't think of when we say, okay, fire the coach. Fire his wife, fire his kids.
Yeah, everyone's involved.
Yeah, we probably should have a little more compassion, but we tend not.
Well, speaking of having to pack your bags and just move, Trevor Oakes is going to be moving. He's going to Kansas City Royals as a 3-team trade. Ironically, we had you in the studio and we were pumping up Trevor Oaks, and maybe this was going to be his shot to crack the starting rotation for the Dodgers. We were both excited about him. You wrote a column about him, and
wrote a column and put the interview on as a podcast and all that. And by the way, listen to the podcast on PE.com. I figured I'd get a plug in.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, and when I talked to him, he had just gotten promoted to the 40-man roster. And so you figure, okay, there's a chance they'll do something because management does a lot of things. I mean, they are willing to shuffle bodies. But I figured, okay, at least he's on the 40-man. He'll get a shot in spring training, and they use a lot of pitchers. They've the last couple of years they've used like 15 and 10 starting pitchers over the season.
Yeah, gobs and gobs of pitchers.
So even if you start the season in AAA, there's a good chance you'll wind up in LA eventually, even if it's just a cameo. But I had that in the back of my mind that he might wind up elsewhere. So now he goes to Kansas City in the Scott Alexander trade. By the way, that should be Scott Alexander, no relation. Maybe that'll be his nickname.
There you go.
But Trevor's going to Kansas City, and I really think he will have a legitimate shot to crack their rotation.
I hope so. I mean, were we excited to see him in a Dodgers uniform here in Southern California? Yeah, of course. That would have been so cool. But in terms of his professional career, it might have been the best thing for him, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And the type of pitcher he is, he's a ground ball pitcher. He works quick. He doesn't, he doesn't mess around on the mound. He doesn't throw a lot of pitches normally when he's right. And the one thing he talked about is that last year at the start of the year, he sort of had trouble with his sinker. Not trouble in the sense that it was bad, but it just wasn't up to his standards. And he tinkered, and maybe he overworked a little bit, and he thinks that kind of led to the oblique injury that kept him on the shelf the last 2 months of the season. But yeah, and he's devoted the off season to kind of getting back, getting healthy and strengthening his body. So I really think he's going to get a good shot in Kansas City, and I hope so. He's a good guy.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the Kansas City Royals rotation. It's not really a who's who in that rotation.
That is a rebuilding year, rebuilding situation.
So it's not like
they're looking at what Houston did. I mean, they haven't. I don't think they're tanking, but they're
not exactly trying.
Yeah.
Somewhere between trying and tanking. We got Jim Alexander here from the Press Enterprise, PE columnist, breaking down a lot of Inland Empire sports here, including UC Riverside basketball. Trevor Oaks going from the Dodgers to the Royals in that big 3-team trade that just went down. Jim, can you give us the scoop? What's in the hopper right now? What are you working on? Anything real juicy?
Yeah, is there any more coming from the
sinister laugh?
Yeah.
If it's real juicy, I'm not going to break it here. But let's put it this way. I have gotten a lot of response to what I wrote earlier this week about UCR. So there probably will be a follow-up. I love these columns where you can just take readers' responses and make that the easiest column of the year. We may have one of those coming up.
Well, yeah, we were at Cal State Fullerton on Wednesday night, and I was approached by probably none less than 15 people asking me about the situation. And I'm in a situation where I know the coaches. I respect Cuts. I respect all the coaching staff. But it's always the same question: who's going to be the next coach? Who's the next coach?
Yeah. And
the same names are getting thrown around. I don't like that. We don't know if it's the big splash. I don't know how you can hire a big splash really at UC Riverside.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can because I think it's perceived as a stepping stone job
or a destination for a few coaches that I think call home.
Yeah.
Which is something. I mean, there's names out there that make sense, and we've kind of puzzle pieced certain guys and no disrespect to Coach Bell because I think it's his to lose. If he continues to do well, he deserves to stay.
Well, I can tell you this: Justin Bell is going to throw everything that he has into this job, every ounce of energy.
Yes.
Talking to him after the game,
he was spent.
He was spent. His voice was going. I felt like telling him, "Hey, get some tea and honey and lemon because you're going to need it the rest of the season." But the interesting thing is, I'm talking to him, and Dedrick Taylor from Fullerton walks by and grabs a microphone and tells him, "Hey, you did a great job. Keep it rolling.
Yep.
Way to get the team together." So, and I asked Dedrick, "Can I use that?" Heck yeah. So it was in the column. But it's, and like I say, it goes back to the question before. You've got to think about the future, but he's all in on this year.
Yep.
Because right now, this is all that's guaranteed is between here and March, and not even that's guaranteed. So.
And he did tinker with the rotation based on the team they played. I mean, it was a genuine change. Hey, we're going to match this up. Mm-hmm. You know, he substituted DJ Sylvester.
That's why Sylvester started.
What a great coaching decision. They went to a man-to-man because they were more athletic. And I thought he coached the game. We're going to have him on the show. I'm going to tell him this again. I think he coached the game like he played. You know, as a player, you know, he's a young enough guy that he's not too far removed from playing. Mm-hmm. He coached it like he was a player. And he saw the guys that were ready to play and made the proper decisions and was so close and had the shot of winning the game.
And the thing that he has in his favor is that he recruited all these guys.
Yes, he did.
He's the recruiting coordinator. So he is not an unknown quantity with these players, and they aren't an unknown quantity to him. So he's going to be able to get the most out of these guys, and he's going to be able to determine who plays, who sits, who's going well, who maybe doesn't have that fire in his eyes. And we already saw that the other night against Fullerton.
My question I would maybe put to you is to find out is, what happens to the signees that signed with UC Riverside? Are they still committed? That's a big question, because when you bring in another coach and they are decommitted, it's tough to get kids to get into UC Riverside, let alone basketball athletes, student athletes. You got to be at 3.4, 3.5 to get in.
Exactly, and that's going to be a real interesting situation, because not only the ones that have already committed, but the ones that are out there that you're looking at. And we've talked before about the need to keep some of that local talent at home. But the kids that are here see this.
They do.
And they see what's going on. And they see the comparison between UCR and Cal Baptist. And all the other factors. This is all going to enter into their decisions. It's probably going to enter into decisions of guys that are on the roster right now. Do I want to stay? Is it going to depend on who the next coach is? Is it what other factors are going to be involved? There's going to be a lot of uncertainty over the next 2 or 3 months.
And one thing you can say about Coach Cutts is they haven't, in the last 3 years, they haven't lost any players.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that he was most proud of. You know, in college basketball now, guys transfer about as easily as they breathe.
Yes.
Yeah. But nobody is transferred out of this program. And to me, that says something. That says that even with all the recruiting disadvantages that they have here, they're doing things to make it a good enough experience that guys want to stay. So is that going to continue? I mean, like I say, a lot of unknowns coming up.
Well, Pep and I travel. We didn't see, normally you would see dissension, and you really didn't. I never really saw the dissension. I saw that he had the voice of his team, and he was really Coach Cutts didn't lose his players. They ran into some very good shooting teams.
And that's what I think is so unfair about him getting let go at midseason, because immediately people start thinking, well, was there some sort of scandal, or did he lose the team, or have guys quit playing for him? And none of those are true as far as I can tell. But it's out there. And unless somebody explains to us, well, why did you do it? It's going to stay out there. Yeah. So that would be, that would be my plea to the athletic director. You needed to try and get out in front of this and explain what your state of mind was, what the reason was that you decided this had to be done now. And the longer you let that go, the more confidence
speculation,
the more speculation, and the more confidence you're going to lose among your fan base.
Well, Jim, before we let you go, speaking of student athletes and guys signing scholarships, something Jeff and I were talking about yesterday, I just want to get your take on it as well. So Rich Rodriguez is out as the University of Arizona football coach, but we have that new early signing period for football we just had in December, right? Javon Hill, who's a defensive back out of Cajon High School, is one of those guys where he's in this no man's land, and there's some thought in that these guys who signed early in this new period in December, right before Christmas, they should be released if they want it. If they choose to, they should have the ability to be released because this is kind of uncharted waters now.
It is, and I agree completely. If you accepted, you signed a letter of intent, you accepted this offer under a certain set of circumstances, and we all know they can say, okay, you're committing to the school and not the coach. Well, kids sign because of the coach.
That's exactly right.
Whether it's the head coach,
That's exactly right.
or whether it's the recruiting coordinator who was on them for however long, and basically a kid's signing his life away.
Yeah, I mean, they might like the campus. They might like that it's in a warm weather city. The cafeteria is good. They've got their major. But at the end of the day, it's the coach, right, that brings them in.
Exactly. So, regardless of evidently there was some scandal here. So, I mean, that's...
Yeah.
But, I mean, regardless of all that, these kids deserve a fair shake. If they still want to come to Arizona, great. But if they want to reopen it, they should be allowed to.
Well, I know Jim has a very top secret, highly confidential meeting. He's got to just fly off to, and
he's got to go meet. He's got to go meet a guy somewhere.
Rustle some feathers. Jim, you're the best. We love having you on. And the next time you have something real juicy, the door's always open.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be on PE.com first, but then I'll be glad.
Okay.
Jim Alexander.
I got to get paid too,
That's true. We all got bills to pay. Jim Alexander, Press Enterprise columnist here on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. When we come back, we'll talk more high school football. We got the Inland Empire All-Star Classic coming up. Justin Bell from UCR a little bit later in the show. And Yancy Dodson is going to check in. He's got Jeff's back.
On the tennis game.
Two tennis guys.
I've got no backhand.
Do we have video of you guys playing?
There's some video of me somewhere of doing something. I hope it's playing tennis in my tiny shorts and my Stan Smith shoes
that light up. We're going to talk about that, too.
Yes, we are going to
Jeff has shoes that light up. He's wearing them today in studio.
Yeah, it's my son's birthday. Shoe. I'm having a malfunctioning shoe.
Oh, just one works?
Yeah, right now I'm having a problem. These are brand new. They're not charged all the way.
Maybe AAA batteries?
No, they're totally USB ports. Oh. Plug them into the wall.
Okay, well you better charge that sucker.
I better. Oh, that's crazy.
We'll get to the bottom of this. Yeah. Jeff's shoe. It's the scandal gripping the IE right now. What is going on with Jeff's lighting up shoes over here?
I'm kind of happy that one's not working. Just don't tell my wife.
She'll still make you wear the good one, though.
Oh, I'll just wear one shoe that lights up.
We'll be back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
And with the baby coming and everything, the money will come in
In
handy.
art lessons.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pat Fernandez and Jeff Corum.
And we are back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. We're getting you all set for the Highlanders and the Gauchos coming up on Saturday night up there at the Thunderdome. Right now, the interim head coach of the UC Riverside men's basketball team, the one and only Justin Bell. Coach Bell, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for the introduction, Seth. That was big time. A lot of energy.
I'm trying to bring it like you, Coach. How's your voice? I heard you were yelling and screaming, and you were losing your voice the other night.
I mean, the only biggest difference is I just talk a lot more now. I'm not used to talking much during the game, so I talk a lot more now. But it'll get its bearings here in the next day or so.
Well, Coach, since you're sitting down most of the time for the last 5.5 years, you're a lot taller than I pictured.
That's a compliment, I think.
Yeah, it might be the extra inch or two of my dress shoes.
Well, speaking of attire, everyone was just buzzing about jacket or no jacket going into UC Santa Barbara. The suit jacket.
Oh, yeah, that Jim Alexander, he's the one who got that thing started. I mean, I just took the jacket off. It was more comfortable just for me, So that was my main reason, just kind of comfortability, and I wanted to be comfortable, and I move around a lot, so I just figured, hey, take it off and get myself ready to go.
We got Justin Bell here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Jeff and I will have the call Saturday night, 9 p.m., as the Highlanders will travel to UC Santa Barbara. Coach, I know that was a tough loss against Cal State Fullerton the other night, but what are some positives? What are some things that you guys did well as a team that you can build upon as you go into that matchup with the Gauchos on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, we want to come out and, there's something to be said about putting yourself in a position to be in that position to win those games, And that's what I told our guys. I said, hey, we'll get better, but let's not downplay the fact that we went on the road and put ourselves in a great position to win the game. So I think the things we taken out of it, obviously as coaches, for me, last 2 or 4 minutes of the game, adjustments to make, but also for them to understand last 2-4 minutes of the game, adjustments to make. But we want to make sure we keep putting ourselves in a position to be in that stage again on the road or at home.
Well, Coach, you guys played a tremendous game. DJ Sylvester came out of the woodwork, hit 5 of 5. But I think the biggest thing was you guys really changed the tempo of the game. You played a lot of man-to-man, but you held a very, very good, high-potent offense of Cal State Fullerton scoreless for about 6.5 minutes there. What was the intention? Did you plan on? Are you going to change game to game, or was that your game plan all along, is to up the tempo a little bit?
It's a good question. I don't know if we're going in talking about up in tempo. We wanted to be physical. We wanted to be aggressive. I thought that switching to the zone, was a good adjustment. A good adjustment kind of threw them off rhythm a little bit. But, every game is going to present different challenges. So I think just for that game and that moment in time, it worked out good. The next game, it might be a little different or something different,
Well, Coach Bell, besides talking a lot more, what was maybe the biggest change as you had your first game as the head coach of the Highlanders? Anything noticeable that, it was just different being the guy in charge?
Yeah, there's natural differences. Obviously, you go from assistant to making suggestions to a head coach making decisions. I think that's one of the biggest, adjustments overall. But ultimately, I just was trying to go out and coach how I coach in practice. I don't want to do anything different or not be, who I am. And my whole thing was, I wanted to go out and, coach exactly how I do on a daily basis. And I think that's, been comfortable for the guys with me doing that, Well,
Coach, I talked to you right after the game, and I think the biggest compliment I could give you, heck, I haven't played in a long time, but, I coached recently, is that you really coach that game like a player. You're not too far removed from playing, and I saw you play. You're a great player, but you kind of had the feel of the game like a player. You subbed when you thought guys needed to be subbed, and there were spot minutes, and I thought the whole rotation was pretty good because you coached it like you were playing the game. Did you feel that way?
Thank you. I wouldn't say I felt that way until you said it. I didn't think about it after the game, but I do coach. I coach off a feel a lot. I don't know if that's a positive trait of mine or a negative, but I do a lot of stuff off a feel, and I felt that game out. And sometimes you can look in a guy's eyes and know he's engaged, or you pull a guy off a bench and he hadn't been in a while, so you don't feel as comfortable. So I just tried to make the best reads off of that moment in time. I didn't want to overthink it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you coached it like a true point guard, Coach. That's all I could say. I was watching it, and I'm thinking, hey, he's like the floor general out there. You were just an extension of the point guard, just standing on the sidelines.
Thank you. Yeah, I just, going into these games, I don't want to overthink it. I know everybody's, I get the same questions. What, your first time, what do you think, or what are you thinking? What are you going to do strategically? I don't want to overthink it. I want our guys playing free, and I want to be able to coach free and not overthink, the situations.
Well, we got the Highlanders on the road at UC Santa Barbara coming up on Saturday night. We got the interim head coach Justin Bell, a friend of the show, and Coach Bell, I love the matchups. I love who's the starting five, and I really enjoy just the all the little details about basketball. And then Jeff over here, he's concerned about what food's going to be on the bus.
Hey, it was good last time. It was great. We had Newport Rib Company last game.
As the head coach, do you get to pick the food now or no?
Some of that stuff, a lot of that has already been prearranged. So
yeah,
I just kind of go with the flow.
You've probably got enough on your plate. You don't have to worry about the food, too. You've got enough on your plate right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, how was practice on Thursday coming off that game against Fullerton? And, how was the morale and just the feeling around the team after the Fullerton game?
Yeah, it was fine. We had a good, hard practice. And I think, we want to, we don't want to one of the biggest things we talked about as a staff, all of us together, is we don't want to react off of wins and losses. When we win, we don't want to, hey, we won, okay, let's take it easy. Okay, we lost, the world's coming down on us. We want to be consistent in what we do. That's been our message to our guys. We might not win them all. We might lose some close ones. We might win some, whatever the case may be, but we want to just keep building and getting better every day in practice, getting better, pushing our guys, getting better. And that's all ultimately we could do. We're trying to control the controllables.
Hey, Bill, Coach Bill, before we let you go here, Jeff and I were talking about the UC Santa Barbara Cal Poly game from last night. That was a wild one. The Gauchos are going to be hungry for a win on their home floor on Saturday night, watching that one unfold. They were up big, and then Cal Poly came back, and the free throws there at the end. I mean, what did you think of that 1-point win by Cal Poly over UCSB?
Cal Poly's always a tough out at their place. Coach Calero's a really good coach, and they're always a tough out there. Santa Barbara, high-powered offense. They got some mature guys who've been there, some couple grad transfers, Marcus Jackson and Leland King. And, you got Jordan Canty, who's a big 5-man down there. And then they got, Gabe Vincent, who's mature. So those guys are, they can get it going, man. They could definitely get it going. But it's Big West play, and not even Big West, conference play, Mountain West, WCC, that's just how it is. It's how it is on the road. That's how it is at home. Those games are going to be tight. People are going to be scrapping around, and it's a lot different than the preseason.
Hey, Jeff said at UC Santa Barbara they used to throw tortillas.
Yes, they did.
Do you remember?
Yep.
See? They used to throw tortillas.
Always
I knew
thinking
it.
about food, Jeff.
Always the food. If there's food involved, I am Admiral Snack Bar. I love food.
Yeah. When I was a player, I got a lot of tortillas thrown at me. I tell you that.
Well, as a player, his 2006-07 season was one of the best ever in the D1 era for UC Riverside, and he's now the head coach at UCR as they go up against UC Santa Barbara coming up on Saturday night. Coach Bell, we appreciate the time, and we'll see you up there in Santa Barbara on Saturday night.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach Bell.
Thanks, Coach.
Oh, okay, see ya.
That is interim head coach Justin Bell. Man had all the right answers, Jeff.
He did, and you know what? I'm being honest. I looked at it as a compliment that he said he coached off feel, and like I said, feeling the game as a coach, and I think I did that pretty well. I wasn't the best X's and O's guy, but I always coached the game off of feel, and I think he did a great job at Fullerton, and I think he's got his hands full after a team lose. They're up by 21, they lose on the road. That's going to be a tough one up at UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah, because you think the Gauchos coming off that crazy loss, because again, they were up by 21. They're up by 3 touchdowns.
Yes.
Just to see it all unravel. And then Pauly, what was it, like a 50-foot three-point attempt?
A 50-foot shot they try to put up, and the guy fouls them. They're up 2, and then
so Santa Barbara was up 2. The Pauly guy is fouled from 50 feet away.
The guy makes all 3 free throws and wins the game.
That's unbelievable.
With 0.3 seconds left on clock.
So either UC Santa Barbara is going to come in deflated, like, oh my gosh, that was like the worst loss.
I hope they do.
Or they're going to be angry, right? They're like, oh man, we're mad. We gotta get a win.
Well, it's going to be a good one either way, and I'm looking forward to seeing what tricks Coach Bell and the Highlanders have up their sleeves going on the road again.
All right, so it's UCR, UC Santa Barbara, 9 o'clock tip-off. It's a late one up there at UCSB. Jeff and I will have the call at GoHighlanders.com. And a big thanks to interim head coach Justin Bell. As you can see, it's the first time we've had him on the show. Really good guy. He's
guy.
A very bright mind in terms of his basketball knowledge, but just a really good guy.
Real good guy. We haven't mentioned his wife's the assistant coach for the Highlanders, and last night on Big West TV, he's up. Justin Bell's watching his wife coach, and he's got his daughter in the bleachers. So kind of cool, nice family affair over at the Highlanders.
That's very cool. All right, we come back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. We'll talk more high school football. Riverside Poly head coach Yancy Dodson's coming up. He will talk tennis. Yes, he will. Yes. But also a big winter showcase coming up involving the Riverside Poly Bears. And we may even sneak some IE All-Star Classic chatter in there, because it will be, I can break the news because it's now official, it will be on Riverside TV. So,
it will.
We finalized the deal. It will be on Riverside TV, so we're excited about that one as well. We'll be right back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
I played once upon a time at Centennial High School. I was actually on the first ever CIF championship team back in 2000, and then my senior year we won it again. I think that's my passion because I've done it. I know exactly where these athletes are at. I know what their mindset is right now. I know how hard it is to, number one, find a performance coach who can take you to the next level. What sets us apart has to be, how we work with our athletes and what we know. We can take an athlete and help them reach their athletic potential, help them, prevent injuries, help get them stronger. I know every single athlete who steps into this gym. I know exactly where they're at, and I'm going to progress them every week. If you're not getting results, then, what's it about? We're going to deliver something that's measurable, in terms of speed, power, strength, agility.
I think God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Corum.
Welcome back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. A big thanks to interim head coach Justin Bell for the UC Riverside men's basketball team. Big game coming up against UC Santa Barbara. I just want to see him get his first win as head coach.
I do too, and like I said, he's doing a great job. I thought he did an excellent job versus Cal State Fullerton. Cal State Fullerton is a real deal team in the Big West, and I think they have a shot to win that tournament come tournament time.
Well, it's going to be a fun one Saturday night. It's a late tip-off, 9 p.m. Gauchos and the Highlanders, as Justin Bell will go for his first win as the head coach of the Highlanders. And, Jeff, what do you think of the keys as they're going into the Santa Barbara matchup?
Well, Santa Barbara, they have a new coach. The toughest thing about Santa Barbara I've seen is that they have 2 graduate transfers. And anytime you add graduate transfers into the mix, your team matures incredibly, just overnight. And they have their best player from last year who was recovering from an ACL tear. He's back. They got Coach Pasternak, who was a longtime assistant coach. He comes in and has changed the system. They're a pretty good ball club. Everybody had talked preseason. This new team's going to be pretty good. And so UC Santa Barbara is 11-4 going into tomorrow's game.
All right, we're going to talk a lot more about this matchup coming up on Saturday. But right now, let's go live to a good friend of ours. It's Edwin Weathersby from the Army All-American Bowl and Football University. Of course, the big game is tomorrow morning. You can watch it live on NBC here on the West Coast. Edwin, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Pep. How about yourself?
Oh, man, we're doing great. We're fired up for the Army All-American Bowl. We had a chance to talk to Centennial High School quarterback Tanner McKee live from San Antonio. We got Justin Dietich. He was in our studio last week raving about the whole Army All-American Bowl. I know his parents are there, too. So when you bring the top high school football players in the country to the Army All-American Bowl, it's kind of almost like a big vacation. You know what I mean? Like the families come in. They have all these cool things throughout the week. Of course, the practices, too. But what's the whole experience like if you're a player coming in for the Army All-American Bowl?
It's a classic A1 experience for the players. We brought them in this week on Sunday. They got to ring in the new year down here, all as a team at the bowl. And then throughout the week, it's a combination of work on the field, but there's festivities throughout the week for the players. We take them to a Spurs game. There's festivities such as where they get to go help out and feed some kids in need. And then there's a lot of things going on at our main hub hotel for the players. There's an Adidas room and gear and things like that. So it's an A1 experience, and we really make sure that not only the players but their families are treated well.
Well, we love it that you guys always come through on the tour and select a couple guys from the Inland Empire. We've got Justin Dedich, Jeremiah Martin, Tanner McKee. We're excited to see them again on national television. In terms of national high school football all-star games, I think there's no doubt the most prestigious is obviously the Army All-American Bowl. How long have you guys been doing this, Edwin? What year is this?
This is we've been doing this all the way back, I feel, about since the year 2000, 2001. So it's going on its 18th year, I believe. I'm not a math whiz, but I believe it's in its 18th year here. And it only gets bigger and better each year. Down here currently on the Riverwalk, and you see signs and Army All-American signs all over this whole entire town. So, this thing is only going to get bigger and better for us.
Now, Edwin, last time you were in studio with us, you were on a grand tour. You were traveling up and down the coast.
Right,
you were in 3 or 4 different cities a day. Are you kind of relieved that after the bowl game, maybe you'll get a nice little rest?
No, because I get back home on Sunday, and then I leave to go to Las Vegas probably 3 days after that, and then there's another grand tour planned. So this thing does not stop for us. But we're always on the lookout for next year's Army All-American.
Edwin's a mover and a shaker. You know what I mean?
He is moving. I know that.
He's constantly on the move with the Army All-American folks, and of course Football University as well. The Army All-American Bowl is a big deal because when these guys go Division I for college football, or they get to the NFL, you look at their bios and they list all their accomplishments.
That's
like
it.
The first thing on there
Yes.
is Army All-American. So, Edwin, if you could do a little name dropping, who are some big football names that have gone through the Army All-American Bowl that we might be seeing on Sundays in the NFL, or maybe they're currently in college football, but what are some big names that people out there might recognize?
Andrew Luck, Odell Beckham, Adrian Peterson, Mark Sanchez, Tim Tebow, Deshaun Jackson. The list goes on and on. I think last year we had probably a total of about 80 first-round picks throughout the history of the game, and about 240 players on NFL rosters last season who are alumni of the Army All-American Bowl.
So with the Army All-American Bowl on Saturday, which is tomorrow in San Antonio, do you get to actually enjoy it, or is it just kind of nuts for you running around and doing whatever you do to make sure the game goes off?
It's a combination of both. Tomorrow, once kickoff starts, I get to actually sit down. But during this week, I am in charge of not only the underclassmen combine, but I'm also in charge of the recruiting hosting of the 2019 Army All-American commits. We have about 10 of those kids who are the best juniors in the entire nation that are committed to play in next year's game. So we bring them down to town and basically host them on a recruiting visit and show them around and show them what they can expect for the next year. So I've been running around town handling that, but hopefully once the game starts tomorrow, I can actually sit down and watch these outstanding kids compete.
Hey, and finally, Edwin, I know we're going to get you back in studio once we get into the spring, but real quick, so the Football University Camp Tour, it's really going to pick up some steam as we get past the Army All-American Bowl. And you have a location here in Southern California, in Los Angeles, right? An FBU camp coming up.
Yes. The camp will be at St. John Bosco. I ran into one of their assistant coaches here last night, and he's all excited and good to go. And, the camp will be April 21st and 22nd in Los Angeles at St. John Bosco.
Edwin, you're the best. Try to catch your breath for a moment and enjoy the actual football game.
I have one quick...
Thank you, guys.
One quick question. Do you get all those frequent flyer miles? You better go somewhere nice.
Right? A nice vacation somewhere.
I'll definitely try. But that won't be until the summer.
But see, Jeff, you need time to actually take a vacation. Edwin's he's on the move, man.
All over the place.
Yeah. I've actually been told by our VP, who's my boss, that his main issue with me right now is I don't take any time off. So
we hear you. We're kind of in that same boat, but we get it. Because, hey, you know what? When you care something about so much, it doesn't feel like work. You just want to make sure you're, everything's going well.
No, this isn't work. It's a treat to actually do this and, again, work with guys like yourself.
Well, Edwin, we appreciate the time. Enjoy the game, and we'll all be watching on NBC back here in the Inland Empire of Southern California.
Sounds good, Pep. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Edwin. That's Edwin Weathersby from the U.S. Army All-American Bowl and Football University. We had him in studio. He's a good guy.
Great guy.
Just carries around a suitcase with his clothes because he's Seattle, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Salt Lake City. Like, he's just on the move.
Yeah, in fact, when he was here, he said, I'm going to be in 4 cities in the next day and a half. And we're like, what?
How is that even possible?
He was like, remember, he said he was flying like 2-3 times a day sometimes. That's ridiculous. What a nice guy, though. Came in. He probably didn't know where he was. He probably thought he was in Phoenix, Arizona when he was here in Riverside. But he couldn't have been nicer. Was just the most pleasant human being and doing a great job.
See, he needs a roadie because that's like the rock stars, right? You know, when the big rock stars go on their big music tours and they jump from city to city, you need someone to remind you, hey, you're in Milwaukee. Hey, You're in Tampa tonight. Hey, you're in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Welcome to Pittsburgh. Excuse me, you're in Los Angeles.
This is LA. Yeah, that was 2 days ago. No, Edwin, you're in Riverside. So no, he was great. We're gonna have him back in the spring as well. We'll get you ready for those football university camps where a lot of guys get noticed, a lot of scholarships passed out, and also that's where a lot of guys get spotted for the Army All-American Bowl as well. So that's coming up in the spring. So we'll talk to him more about that. Did you hear all the names he was dropping, though?
I heard of a few of them. I mean, I don't know who Odell Beckham is.
OBJ?
Yeah, I think he must be a good player, but, I've never heard of him.
Tim Tebow?
Nah.
Who's the other ones? Andrew Luck?
Nah. Aaron Rodgers? Did you say Aaron Rodgers?
Adrian Peterson.
That was it, yeah.
No, see, Aaron Rodgers
That's
right.
Playing it. That's right. He was a JC guy.
He wasn't very good.
That's right. He was a third-tier, JC guy that just happened to wind up at Cal. And
remember we talked about that?
That's right.
Where's Kyle Harbaugh right now? Kyle Harbaugh, the Corning Cardinals running back who beat Aaron Rodgers for the big high school award.
Take that, Aaron Rodgers.
So once in a while, you will have a guy who comes from out of nowhere, which Chico, California is pretty much out of nowhere.
Aren't you from up there?
That's my neck of the woods.
Yeah, from nowhere.
From out of nowhere, here I am, too.
There you go.
But a lot of these guys do go through the Army All-American Bowl. Again, when you look at some of the best NFL players, top college players, there it is, top of the bio, top of the resume, U.S. Army All-American. Because, again, that's kind of the game. If you're that good at a national level, that's where you go.
Yeah, it's like in basketball, you got the used to be the Parade All-American list and the McDonald's All-American
McDonald's,
game.
Yeah.
That's the big one.
Game.
Yeah, so that's the equivalent of that.
So Edwin Weathersby live from San Antonio, getting us ready for the Army All-American Bowl coming up on Saturday. So we have the Army All-American Bowl this Saturday, and it's kind of like the entree to get you ready for the big one.
Yes.
The biggest game in history.
Definitely.
El Clásico.
Yes.
The 33rd Annual Inland Empire All-Star Classic. It's coming up. It's next Saturday, January 13th, on the home field of Tanner McKee. Centennial High School, January 13th, as Matt Logan, the head coach of the Huskies, will guide the Riverside County All-Stars against Nick Matheny, head coach of the Summit Skyhawks and the San Bernardino County All-Stars. So, see, Matt Logan's already a great coach, and he has home field advantage.
Yeah, it's just not fair. But I guess when you're the emperor, you're allowed to do exactly what you want.
Well, Nick Matheny, when we had him here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM, he joked how many other San Bernardino County coaches said no until we got to him because, hey, here's how the proposal goes. Hey, you know what? We want you to coach in the All-Star game. Awesome. Dude, totally. That's the biggest thing ever. It's very prestigious here in the Inland Empire. I'll totally do it. Okay, but you're going to go against Matt Logan on his home field.
And then they go, oh, no. Can I get back to you and let you know? Oh.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Don't do it, Admiral Akbar.
It's a trap.
But no, I mean, seriously, look at that. I mean, what a great game. And it does so much for the community, does so much for the players. And, you know, we talked about the All-American Bowl. This though, is really the All-American Bowl here in the longest running game in the state of California. So pretty impressive stuff. And, you know, you're not going to see Tanner McKee, but you're going to see other guys that are so good in this area that it's always an entertaining game. And the guys play their hearts out. The coaches actually coach, and it's a true football game. So it's kind of nice to finish out. It's kind of the ribbon that, as you would say, we're gonna
put a bow on.
We're gonna put a bow on top of it. So
put a bow on top of this high school football season. And it was one to remember. So many great players. We had teams win CIF championships. Cajon going to the state championship game in 2AA. So it was a great year. It was a long year.
Yes.
Man, when you think about week 0 back in like August 25th or 24th, whatever that first Friday was.
Yeah,
to get to this point.
The last 2 years, you and I have been to more football games because it would go all the way through three-quarters of the way through basketball season.
Yeah.
Like, we had San G last year, Valley View.
Yeah, that's right. We did.
It was a great year. But are we going to get the rosters? They're going to be out Monday, right?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So a lot of people have been hitting us up on social media saying, where's the final rosters? We want to see them. Jeff and I don't have them. I know they're working on them.
They will
but
be.
We don't have them. I've seen some names on them.
Yeah, I believe it will be Monday because they have their first. The media day will be
Saturday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, Saturday.
So we'll have those rosters on Monday, I believe.
So we'll get those out to you as soon as we get them as well, as soon as they're finalized. And also, if you go to the Inland Sports website, there's still time, but time is running out to apply for one of the 4 scholarships that they have available through the Inland Empire All-Star Classic. They have passed out close to $175,000 since they've done the Inland Empire All-Star Classic. In scholarship money, they've got 4 more this year, and there's still time to apply, but Saturday, January 6th, that's the deadline. So you need to go to inlandsports.wordpress.com, get on our blog, download the application, fill it out, and it has directions on where you send it from there. You're going to send it to Jim Clover, and they're going to have a panel of people that review them and then pick the scholarship winner. So there's still time, but you got to hurry.
Yeah, and there's a Riverside scholarship, which is the Tyler Llewellyn $1,000 scholarship in honor of the late, great Tyler Llewellyn. San Bernardino scholarship is $1,000. The late Jerome Wall, Dr. Jerome Wall, they're going to give out a sports medicine award for $500 and a Frank and Rose Wall Award as well for $500. So it's a great, great time. It's a great game, and it helps our youth in our community.
And I'm going to punch up the logo real quick because I know the kids really love this. The fact that it's the UCLA versus USC theme. They've got the colors. So San Bernardino County has the Bruins colors. And I remember this because we just had Nate Meadors on the show.
That's right.
He's a San Bernardino guy. So now I've got it in my head. Okay, San Bernardino is UCLA because of Nate Meadors. That's how I remember it. And so by default, the Riverside County All-Stars will have the USC color theme. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully you're not one of those guys. You're like, I'm a USC fan, but I'm in the UCLA colors. But
yep,
it is what it is, right? You're an IE All-Star. So what are you going to do? You don't know. Jeff's like,
I was
Dikembe Martin, 4-3. UCR on a 20-0 run. Chance Murray, the hoop and the harm. Jeff?
Yeah. Well, no, you were talking there, and I said, we have the list in front of me, and I saw Mr. Football, and I got all excited again because I was looking on that list of who might be playing in this game.
Oh, yeah, there are some Mr. Football
Holy
guys.
Cow.
So the Inland Empire All-Star Classic is only for seniors. You got to be a senior in the Inland Empire. But Mr. Football, we just open it wide. It's juniors,
oh man,
sophomores, freshmen. It's open for everybody.
It's pretty an impressive list, and that's why I was zoned out there for a minute. I was going, wait a sec, who are these guys?
You were just
playing?
taken aback?
Yeah, I mean, just an incredible list. There's so many good players in the Inland Empire. There's so many. And then you had the City of Champions in San Bernardino. You have so many guys that can play over there. You have so many Division I players. And then you go to the Riverside, the Corona, the Temecula area. Wow. I mean, this has got to be, everybody talks Texas, Florida. No. You guys go to hell, man. This is Inland Empire football is the best around.
It's a hotbed.
It's unbelievable.
There's a lot of talent down here. There's so many great coaches, a lot of great teams. Again, when I first came down to the Inland Empire, I was blown away by the fact that how many good high school football teams there are, but how many guys from the IE are now at UCLA, USC, the NFL. Like, there's so many great players from this area.
You know, and this is kind of
Colton
weird.
High School, right? Greg's like nodding his head. I know he's thinking about the Colton Yellow Jackets. They had a fantastic run about a decade, 15 years ago.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you. This is what I do.
They're coming back, Greg.
This is what I do during the day is I look up rosters, and I look up basketball rosters, I look up baseball rosters, and
is that what you do during the day?
I do a lot of yeah, I do. That's all I do. But I look up these rosters. I mean, just across the board of the big dominant programs in the country, and inevitably so, there's always a Inland Empire guy or two or three or four on every big roster. Hey, basketball, baseball, and football. Heck, we even have a girl that's from the Inland Empire that's playing in the Olympics on the ice hockey team.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, from lived out in
is it in Eastvale.
Eastvale. And
is
she's
intern Cullen on that? He's supposed to be working on that.
He's supposed to be, and I called my brother and I said, hey, Brothers Gorham. I said, there's a girl.
Brothers Gorham.
There's a girl out
like
in New Hampshire. She's in New Hampshire. And he goes, there's a girl in New Hampshire that's playing on the Olympic team, and she's from Eastvale. And he goes, I know who she is. Casey, I believe her name was. But he was like, yeah, I heard about this girl from Southern California who's on the Olympic team. So there is always somebody from the Inland Empire on some roster, some NFL roster, some NBA roster. It's unbelievable the talent pool out here.
And the Inland Sports Show was born.
Unbelievable. I mean, we built our show based on the Inland Empire and all of this.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
It's just crazy. And you got to sometimes, I sit back and I'm really proud to host with you on this show because there's so many topics, so many players, so many coaches that have so many great stories.
And you're part of that Inland Empire lore. I adopted the IE.
I lived it.
You lived it.
Good golly, I've been here
for... Gorham boys running wild in Riverside.
Oh, you got to figure my dad's been here forever. I mean, forever. He's born in 39. I mean, it just aged my dad, but think about it.
Forever.
I mean, he's been out here the whole time, and everywhere I go, you know, somebody will go, hey, you're a Gorham. And they go, which Gorham are you?
Gorham.
They do. They look at me and they go, you're a Gorham, aren't you? I go, yeah, I'm one of the Gorhams. I'm the littlest Gorham. They go, your dad was my teacher back in the 1968 or 70.
Gorham?
Yeah.
What's the average height of a Gorham?
My mom's 6 foot. My dad's 6'6". My brother's, he's a measly 6'4", 6'5". But I'm a good solid 6'8" and can whoop them all, except for my mom.
You're the biggest of the Gorhams?
Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, growing up here, and we've been doing this 5 weeks now, and it's just day after day we have countless stories of the Inland Empire, and it's so cool. It really is. I'm proud to be part of this area.
There's a lot going on. So many talented athletes. And if you just look around, you know, you don't have to really even look hard. You can see why we're so proud of the Inland Empire and all the cool things going on here. And you know what I mean? Like when a guy like, let's say like Nate Meadors, we just had him on the show, a guy like Nate Meadors at UCLA, he's got a big decision coming up to, you know, maybe possibly go to the NFL and stuff. Like, dude, I feel like he's carrying the IE flag. You know what I mean? Like, we're all proud of him.
Yeah, and there's like guys like Alexander Madison, who's you look at was a straight A student, just
bilingual, you know, Spanish.
He's just one of those guys you just want to hug and go, man, you're the greatest guy ever.
Yeah, we all root for him.
You want a son like that. I have 3 boys, and and you have daughters. You want them to be those kind of people that are going to be pillars in our community, whether they're play professional sports or not. They're going to be successful, and there are success stories on every single block here in the IE.
When we come back, hey, guess what? We're going to talk more IE.
We are.
We're going to talk more IE. We're going to have Yancy Dodson on a little bit later, right? The Riverside Poly basketball coach, a big winter showcase coming up. I believe they're playing King.
Yes, they are.
It's kind of like a rivalry game, right? They're not in the same league, but that's a rivalry game.
Kind of, but he's a Ramona guy. I don't want him to fool you. He coaches at Poly.
Don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled by the green and orange. He's a Navy and Columbia blue guy at heart.
Don't be fooled by the hoops that I got.
There you go.
He's still Yancy from the block. Yancy Dodson will join us. We'll verify Jeff's tennis prowess.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. He's gonna support.
He says he texted us because we were at the end of the show yesterday, and he texted us and said, "Hey, I've got Jeff's back." I think that's his exact words.
Yes.
In the text messages, right?
Yes, he did.
I've got Jeff's back.
And then Justin Norman was listening yesterday, and he and I had an epic. We used to have epic tennis battles. We would like fist fight. We get into
possible, an epic tennis battle?
Yeah, but we would talk smack, like curse at each other. And yeah, he's a good. Justin Norman's a good tennis player, but probably one of the best golfers in history of this area.
Really?
Justin Norman he's a great basketball player, but he was like a CIF finalist in golf for like 4 years in a row. He lost to a girl though.
Huh?
Yeah, we'll have to get him on the air and talk to him about it. He lost to a girl in the CIF playoffs because they didn't used to have girls golf. It was the girls used to play with the boys.
Okay.
Yeah, he lost to a big time pro.
She's a pro now?
She's a late pro. She passed away.
Oh, okay.
But amazing. She whooped him, and I always give him a hard time about it. But yeah, she was a great player. And he and I used to have walking. We had power walking when I was at La Sierra. We used to run like power walk around the school. And we did tennis, and we would play. We should have like free throw contests, and we'd always bet for like big bucks, like lunch.
You'd power walk around school.
We did.
And it was a competition.
Yeah, and I have a picture I'm going to show you on the break here.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right, and we got to get to Jeff's shoes. Jeff's shoes are lighting up.
Yeah, only one of them though.
Only one of them.
I got one lit up.
Maybe
right
I'm
now.
gonna try to fix it.
So maybe we can turn the lights out here in the studio for the people that are watching.
We'll take a picture. We'll put it on our social media, on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
We're small, family-owned, strive for quality pre-owned vehicles. We're not a volume dealer, and we take every deal as personal to us. We're a low-stress environment. We're not a pressure sales house. If you want to shop us, you're more than welcome to shop us. We have, like I said, great rates, competitive financing, a lot of one-owner, clean Carfax, clean title vehicles. As you see, we have Carfax everywhere. That's most important to us, to educate our customers before they make a purchase. We're right off of Ontario, right off a couple exits off the 15 freeway, off Cajalco, off El Cerrito, and we're right on the main drag going into Dos Logos and the crossings. We have great financing, we have great lenders that we're using. We do buy, sell, trade, cash for your car, whatever we need to do to help accommodate the customer, that's what we're here for. We have a little bit of everything. We start at about $69.95 and go all the way up to $100,000. We have Escalades, we have commuters, we have pickup trucks, we have Jeeps, sport utilities, and if we don't have it, our specialty is finding you exactly what you're looking for.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
Do you speak any English? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
We are back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. We appreciate you joining us on a Friday. Get you ready for a big weekend. We got the NFL playoffs. We got IE All-Star Classic Media Day, UCR on the road at UC Santa Barbara, all kinds of good stuff. And the big news that we woke up today to, Jeff, is Jon Gruden. It looks like he's going to be the Raiders' new head coach. 10 years, around $100 million.
Unbelievable amount of money. That's ridiculous.
It's something that Jim Alexander from the Press Enterprise brought up and something that we've touched on. And it's one of those deals where, and it's my philosophy as well, you don't get rid of a coach unless you have someone waiting.
Yes.
Or you have an idea of who you might want in there. Because to just get rid of a coach and say, well, what do we do now? Yes. You know what I mean? Like, that's a bad spot.
Oh, yeah, and Riverside's kind of in that spot. I know the athletic director's probably sitting there going, oh, man, I got rid of somebody. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. It's just a strange deal. But the Raiders obviously found their guy.
Well, Jon Gruden going back to the Raiders. He had a good run the first time in the early 2000s, and then remember he was traded, wasn't he? He was traded to the Tampa Bay Bucks, which is just bizarre. How do you trade a coach? But he was traded to Tampa Bay. Took him to the Super Bowl where they faced the Raiders, the silver and black for the Super Bowl, and they beat the Raiders pretty handily, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for that Super Bowl championship. But so now Chucky goes back to the Raiders, trying to get them back to the Super Bowl, and they've got a young nucleus with Derek Carr, Mari Cooper. Like, there's some good guys, Khalil Mack. There's some good guys, good young guys in place, and that's probably why they gave Gruden a 10-year contract, because they're like, hey, listen, you're going to be there 10 years. That is Derek Carr's prime. You're going to be there the entire time. Derek Carr, the quarterback, will be in his prime. It's now or never for the Raiders.
Hey, and they've offered him not only $100 million, but they also offered him an ownership stake in the team as well.
And as the team will go to Las Vegas, he will be there ushering the team into that new era to Las Vegas.
So head coach, part owner, and pretty much his run of the team, because anything he's going to tell the general manager, they're going to listen to him. When you're making 10 times more than the general manager, you got to listen to your head coach.
That is a lot of money. I know the Indianapolis Colts are kind of getting a bad rap because I think most people would agree that Andrew Luck, former Army All-American, he's in his prime, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You just wouldn't know it. He's always banged up. He does not have a good team around him. So the Colts get a bad rap, the fact that they're wasting Andrew Luck. This is his prime right now. If Indianapolis is going to make a playoff run, a Super Bowl run, like, the time is now. Like, you got to put the parts in place around him. You got to have a coach in place. I mean, the time is now for Indianapolis Colts. I'm just wondering if the Raiders look at their young nucleus. I'm thinking, again, Derek Carr, of course, at quarterback. You got to start with him. Amari Cooper, the receiver. Khalil Mack on defense. They've got some really good young guys who are entering their prime. And with Gruden around for a decade, a 10-year contract, he's basically going to be around, if everything works out, for the entirety of their prime. I mean, the Raiders are saying, like, we're going all in. This is going to be our best team. We're moving to Las Vegas. There's going to be a lot changing. We need some stability, a guy that we can trust. And who can you trust more than John Gruden, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of money in the till. There's only 3 players under contract that are making more than $10 million. That's far lower than any other team in the NFL. So you look for them to make a big splash here in the offseason and bring in some free agents. And who wouldn't want to go play for John Gruden? Because really everybody talks about he's the guru. He's the Monday Night Football guru, the quarterback guru. If you're an offensive lineman, I'm sure they're going to go after some of those big names that are in the draft or in free agency. So I do look for the Raiders to spend a little bit of money here in the offseason. They obviously did with their head coach.
What's interesting was you go back to the previous year. Remember, the Raiders had a really good team. Everyone was pointing to Oakland as the team that might unseat the New England Patriots as the best team in the AFC. Derek Carr was all world. He was putting up some huge numbers. Then he broke his leg. And they went to that first playoff game. I believe it was at Houston. And they just were not the same. And then they came back this year. Jack Del Rio's 3rd season as the head coach of the Raiders. Just didn't find that same magic. That silver and black magic just was not there this year.
No, and Jack Del Rio, when he stepped away, he's going to get another job. He's a really good coach. He stepped away gracefully, didn't badmouth anybody. He knew his last game. He was done and went out there and treated it just like any other game. And they just didn't play well this year. Not that I care, because I'm not a big Raider fan. I might be a little bit more of a fan now that they have Gruden, because I do like him. I like what he has to say in the booth. We just see if he can. He hasn't coached in a long time. It's been a while.
What, 2005?
Yeah.
Something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Woo.
He's ready.
Hey,
he's all saved up.
He's ready. No excuses. He's ready.
I think Greg loves
hashtag no excuses.
Yeah, no
Hillcrest High School basketball. Hashtag no excuses.
That's right. So yeah, wow. It's going to be a different Raider team, that's for sure.
Well, John Gruden, it looks like will be the next head coach of the Raiders for a second time. And everyone speculated he was always the big name out there in the NFL, right? Like when anything would open up, they'd be like, well, John Gruden's out there. He's in the broadcast booth, but he's out there.
He was a big name. Remember, his name was being thrown around in all these college football circles.
Oh, everywhere. Yeah.
It was like, he doesn't want to go to the pros. He wants to go to the college. He wants to get those recruits. They were talking about his name replacing Harbaugh at Michigan after Michigan just recently had their horrible year.
Yeah. It's not horrible. Come on, Jeff.
That's by Michigan standards. That's a horrible year.
Were they great? No, but they weren't horrible. They lost to South Carolina in the Outback Bowl.
But look at they got beat by Ohio State at home.
You saw it.
Yeah.
You were there, Jeff.
There were people ready to kill him. I'm telling you, man. After you see walking out of the stadium, people were like, "Man,
that's their Super Bowl, right? Michigan, Ohio State. That's their Super Bowl.
We're gonna get Harbaugh on that big chin of his." But see, everybody on the same token loved him because he was their beloved quarterback, back in the day. But man, they weren't too happy, and there was mention of Gruden.
Yeah, Gruden was always mentioned. Any job that opened. I mean, there was a couple other guys. I'm thinking of like Bill Cowher. who people stopped mentioning his name. After a while, like it's okay, he's happy doing the TV thing, the analyst thing. We're not going to put his name to all these open positions. But I always felt like John Gruden was that one name that even though he was entrenched in those NFL broadcasts, he was still the one name where people would just throw it out there and say, you know what, there's still a chance. Maybe he would come out. Maybe he would come back out and coach once again and get on those sidelines. And $100 million could do that for you, right?
Heck, you're darn right. Heck.
Well, he was making good money at ESPN. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was making good money.
Oh, he was making good money doing at ESPN, but he was making more money on the public speaking circuit. He was going around and he was like a public speaker, one of those guys who became
motivational speaker.
He was a motivational speaker. But the thing is that those were drying up. They were saying that he wasn't making as much in the last 3 years, so that's why he took this job because. You can only go on those laurels of being a tough, really hard-nosed guy for so long.
Oh, you sound just like him.
Thank you. That's my
You curled your nose and your face.
If you're going to play you got to play tough quarterbacks, and you got to just know how to play. I think that part of that is he was like, hey, I can go out and make $100 million in 10 years. When he was making, he'd go out and make 50 in 10 years prior, and he was working twice as hard, going around speaking all over the place.
Running all over. Well, now he's again, because better than anyone else as a coach. Now he's really going to put in those long hours.
Yeah, what a dummy! And I don't mean this. All of my friends, except for you two guys in this room, are coaches. They're all coaches, and I talked to them at the beginning of the season, and they're all fired up. And then I talk to them now.
Because
the
they're
basketball
nice and
guys,
fresh,
yeah.
right? They're coming off the off season. They're feeling good. Everyone's 0-0, like 0-0 their records.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I have friends that are baseball coaches, head baseball coaches around here. A lot of head football coaches and a lot of head basketball coaches. And they're always like basketball right now is the middle of the season, right before conference or league, and they're either really good or they're really crappy. And they go, I just hate this. I'm going to quit after this year. I never want to do it again. And you get them a month and a half ago, and they're all happy. And then you see them at the end of the season, and they've gained weight. They have bags under their eyes, and they go, I just don't know if I'm going to do it. And then you talk to them a week later. Oh, yeah, we're starting to lift again. We're getting ready to do it. I go, why would you put yourself through that anymore? It's just not fun at all. But baseball is a whole different animal. A completely different animal. We know Coach Madrill. We know Coach Adcock and those. I never see those guys looking that bad midway through the season. Because you know why?
What's the secret, Jeff?
They're outside in the best part of the year, the baseball guys.
Well, that's true. In the spring, right?
They're spring.
And they're outside.
They're
enjoying
outside.
the weather here in the IE.
They get to eat while they coach. Granted, they're eating bird food, but it's still they're chewing on seeds. They're just walking around. They get to hit baseballs. They play catch.
They get to wear the uniforms just like the guys.
I mean, dude, it's the best. I'm telling you right now, if I could go back and if I knew enough about baseball, I would coach baseball because I did coach baseball once. I was terrible. But
who did you coach?
I coached at La Sierra.
You did?
I coached JV baseball.
Were you the head coach?
I was the head JV baseball coach.
You were?
And then I went over to the softball because baseball, you see, I had to hit infield and I had to hit my fungo. And I just wanted to hit the ball as hard as I could and as far as I could. So those guys in the outfield, I'd be hitting fungos to them and I'd miss. And it would be like, I'd hit the ball like 1 out of every 3 times. And so I didn't want to lean over and pick up baseballs. But honest to goodness, the best job in the world. You get to wear a hat. You play catch. I mean, if I can go out with my kids and play catch every day, if I could do that as a job, it would be the best thing in the world.
So maybe there's still time. You can get to Gruden and say, dude, there's still time.
Get out!
What are you doing? It reminds me of the scene from...
What are you doing?
Yeah, Big Daddy. Remember with Adam Sandler?
Yes.
His friend's about to propose to his girlfriend. Dude, what are you doing? Did you think about this?
Oh, yeah, I can't envision myself ever coaching again because I just felt miserable. I was just terrible. I hated losing. I wanted to punch everybody after a loss, and I lost a lot, so I was always angry. Yes, it was not fun at all. I didn't like my kids because they'd lose, and then I go home and my wife would go, "What's wrong?" And I'd be crying in my pillow.
Maybe you should tweet John Gruden right now.
Somebody already said that I was going to replace John. I think Cullen put on Twitter I was going to replace Gruden in the booth.
Oh, you were? You're leaving us here?
No, I'm not doing it. I don't mind Riverside TV booth because it's kind of fun. I get to watch high school football.
Yeah.
And they all run the goofy basic plays. Somebody's going to run the spread. Somebody's going to run the double wing. Pretty easy stuff. It's fun. I like watching the kids play. Yeah, that pro stuff, man. Be cool, though. I'd have a nicer suit, that's for sure.
The other big news, maybe outside of John Gruden going to the Raiders, was Trevor Oakes being part of that big Dodgers to the Royals trade. It was a 3-team trade, and the former Woodcrest Christian High School and Cal Baptist University pitcher is now a member of the Royals. We had Jim Alexander in here, and we were talking about the Kansas City starting rotation in terms of pitchers, and it wasn't a who's who. So I actually found the names of the starting pitchers for the Royals. I have their depth chart right here. And let's see.
Hey, they just won a World Series a couple years ago. A few years ago.
Yeah, they've had some good teams.
They just blew it up.
It wasn't like the old Kansas City Royals. I remember when in the 90s.
George Brett. Yeah. George Brett is Pine Tar. Remember that?
Lost his mind. Yeah, Brett Saberhagen.
Brett Saberhagen. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm telling you, George Brett was an angry guy.
Yeah, he was. He lost his mind. Frank White was on those teams.
Yeah. They had the real ugly center fielder, too. I can't think of his name, but he was really ugly, too. I always looked at my baseball cards because I collected a lot of cards, and I used to go, ooh, like Frank Tanana's still the number one ugliest of all time.
Was it Danny Tartable? Was he
Danny Tartable? Danny Tartable. Yeah. Danny Tartable could play.
Hey, big brain on Pep.
Yeah. Give us some names in that rotation.
Well, I got them. They only gave us the last names, and again, if I don't if I don't know their first names, let's see. So this is right off the Royals website. So their starting rotation was, let's see, last name Duffy. Actually, I think he was pretty good. What's his name?
I'm going to pull it up right here, the depth chart. Bam!
See, I'm trying to do it on my phone, so sometimes when you pull it up on your iPhone, you don't get all the information. But Duffy, Kennedy, Hamill, Carnes, Eunice, Gaviglio, Keller, and Barlow.
Hey, we pulled up the same depth chart.
That's a real who's who.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Listen, Trevor Oakes, he's a stud. He's going to make that starting rotation.
Nate Carnes.
Actually, I think Duffy's pretty good. Ian Kennedy's not bad. Jason Hamill, he's not bad. I could see Trevor Oakes being
a Cy Young winner.
Okay, hold on. Slow your roll, Jeff.
Cy Young winner. Stop it. I see it.
But I'm saying like at least number 4 in that starting rotation. I think he could go as high as number 4, be the 4th or 5th starter in that rotation for the Royals.
That would be cool. But their bullpen, I've never heard of any of those guys either. They have a shot, man. I'm telling you, he's going to get the Cy Young, and we're going to interview him. Are you going to get him on the show this next week?
Yeah, we're going to get him on the show.
Can I ask him if he's going to be the Cy Young winner?
What's that?
I'm going to ask him if he's going to win the Cy Young.
Go for it.
He's going to win it.
We're going to get him on the show next week.
Then he's going to thank me when he wins it.
When we come back, is it Yancy Dodson time?
Fancy Yancy time, baby.
Riverside Poly basketball coach Yancy Dodson. He's coming up. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday.
I want to see Francis.
Francis is busy.
Busy doing what?
He's having his bath.
Oh, really? Where are they hosing him down?
The Inland Empire's home for all things IE just got even better. Introducing the award-winning Inland Sports Show with Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
Your local sports leader in the Inland Empire. Fox Sports IE 1350.
And Jesus.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Corum.
Hey, welcome back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. We're proudly brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Kin Sporting Goods, more than 40 years in the Inland Empire. Boost performance training with Coach Ray Bass and Catalano Motors off Temescal Canyon Road in Corona. You heard the doorbell. Go answer the door, Jeff. We're going to the Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change Celebrity Hotline, and he's got your back. It's your boy, Yancy Dodson, the head basketball coach at Riverside Poly.
He's been on the show now more than anybody else. He's in the lead.
This is my third time. I need to keep my lead.
Yes.
You should have some sort of a chart on the wall.
We got to do it.
Keep it official. But yeah,
absolutely.
Coach Dodson over here, the front runner right now on the Inland Sports Show. And before we talk about the big winter showcase coming up, Coach, the thing that everyone around the Inland Empire is talking about right now is Jeff and his tennis abilities.
I'm telling you, I can play
good?
tennis.
Oh yes, I can corroborate what Jeff was saying yesterday about his tennis skill, which is high, very high skill level.
Hey,
I was in the car listening to the show like I always do, and I was on my way to Yellin' Helen's house.
Yeah!
And I hear Jeff and doing the creepy Pokemon voice.
That's him.
That was kind of creepy. And so I shot him a text, and then somehow the conversation turned to Jeff's tennis skill, and he asked me to text or call, and I shot you guys a text. Yes. Jeff could play tennis. I could corroborate that. You know, Jeff, he was always a good athlete. He was a great basketball player, but he was a good athlete. No matter what he did. You know, we played a one season of Little League together for OLPH.
That's
Our
right.
Lady of Perpetual Help.
Yeah,
You know,
that was
we also
fun.
played some tennis together. We played basketball, a whole lot of basketball together. You know, and the couple of times when I played doubles with Jeff, you know, his favorite saying when we were playing. You got it, Yance. It was like, you know, those of you who are familiar with, you know, the Bad News Bears in the championship game against the Yankees, and Kelly Leak is out there catching every pop fly.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
was more like Tanner Boyle.
Yeah. So I'm out there, I'm hitting every shot, and, you know, Jeff would go, you got it, Yance, and every once in a while I'd let him, here comes the lob, I'll let Jeff have it. And he'd make a play on it. He was a great partner.
He let you have it. But, no, Jeff, you know what? I think you did say, like, Yancy was head and shoulders, obviously a better tennis player than you. But you had game.
No, he was great. He was fun to play with. You know, I took lessons. I took him. Fran Bushman was my tennis coach, and I used to take lessons over on Victoria. There was a house over there.
Yes.
And I would take lessons twice a week. And he taught me this. Fran Bushman, who was a legendary tennis coach at Riverside Community College, taught me how to serve with two fingers on the racket, so I had to get a lot of spin on it.
Absolutely, yes. I had a kick serve. I was a serve and volleyer myself, and I had a nice little kick serve that I would get in behind and try to put the volley away. And you know, we were both very tall. It was tough to lob over us, so we would crowd the net. And yeah, it was fun to play together and tough to play against.
Yes. So Pep Fernandez.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yes. Hey, let's talk hoops though. How's that? The Bears are looking great so far this year, Coach.
You know, we have a long way to go, but I like where we are. I just absolutely love this group of kids. They love each other. You know, we spent a whole lot of time on the road from December 20th to December 30th. We spent 4 days in Vegas playing in the Tarkanian Classic there and made it to the championship game. And then we came home for 3 days and then turned back around and went on the road to San Diego. We were down there together, staying in the beach house for 4 days, and you know, we weren't 100% healthy, so you know, we took a couple of losses down there. But you know, the teams that we played, just quality teams. It was just fun to play teams from out of the area and from out of the state. We played teams from Nevada and Arizona and Texas and the San Diego section, and it was just a lot of fun for us to be together and have some success on the basketball court. But yeah, I like where we are right now for sure.
Hey, Coach, what's the benefits? What's the upside when you go against teams, like you said, out of state, or from the San Diego section? Because sometimes, as my wife likes to say, you blow the stink off. You want to get out of the area, get out of the IE, see something new. Like, what are some of the benefits of going against these schools that, like you said, from out of state or maybe just from out of the area?
I think, the on-court benefit is certainly seeing different players and having and different, coaching styles and different schemes that others play. And, having to make in-game adjustments is probably, the biggest thing that will take away, because there isn't a lot of scouting to do. You may have an opportunity to see them for a half or for a game if they happen to play sometime before or after you, as opposed to when you're in league and you're playing, the same teams and players and coaches, and you have detailed scouting reports for them. When you're playing against teams from out of the area, you're pretty much having to make in-game adjustments depending on what it is that they do. They're not super familiar with us, and, a lot of the stuff that we do offensively, it turns out to be successful. And I think that's the biggest on-court benefit, is just learning to make in-game adjustments based on personnel and based on what the other teams and coaches and their style of play. But, the biggest benefit is just building team chemistry and camaraderie among the guys going into what I, like to call the second season, that league season. Just building camaraderie and, love for one another, and just building relationships and making memories that will last a lifetime.
And talking about those benefits of the other season, or off the court, I should say, I think, Yancy, I think both of you and I took this from our high school coach. Tony Macy used to take us up to the mountains up in Lake Arrowhead, and every year it was really the team bonding experience that we were able, we won a league championship in a tough league back in the day, and I think that really helped us win, because we really liked each other on the court, but off the court we all have the same interests and learn to each other's interests, so that when we had tough situations, we came together as a team. And I see you doing that every year with your poly teams.
And yes, and just like you said, learned it from Tony Macy. He would take us up to the mountains for a retreat. We would also go in the summer to the Westmont tournament.
That's right.
And, stay in the dorms there and play there. And, a lot of times when it comes to, athletics, you have a group of kids who, were it not for that particular sport, might not even hang out with each other or be friends with one another. But there's a common bond, that's brought together, by the particular sport, as relates to me and what it is that I do. And, same thing for you, Jeff. It's basketball. And, these guys come together for a common goal, where if they weren't on the basketball team, who knows if they would even hang out with each other. So, yes, it develops relationships and builds friendships. And, here we are, you and I, sitting together, 30-plus years later, after having spent the time we did together, on the basketball court and on the tennis court, where you were quite the player, Jeff.
Yeah. Go get it, Yance. That one's for you, Yance. Hey, but we do have the big Riverside Poly Winter Showcase coming up. It's this Saturday, wall-to-wall hoops out there. The main event, the big one at 7 o'clock, obviously, Poly and King. Coach, is that a rivalry game of some sort? I mean, I know you guys are in different leagues. In football, they try to hype it up when Poly plays King. But what about in basketball?
I think, Poly versus King, regardless of sport, or even if it's not a sport, academic, decathlon, or anything else, yes, it certainly is a rivalry. These kids, they've known each other and have gone to school together, and just because the proximity of the schools themselves and similar social circles, our kids, both basketball players and, students alike, know each other, and there is a good, healthy rivalry. I know there was a time when Poly and King were in the same league, but, that's been a while since they've been in the Big Eight, and Poly's been in the Inland Valley. But still, the rivalry between the schools is a very good, healthy one, and looking forward to taking it to the basketball court tomorrow night at 7.
All right, so tomorrow at Poly High School, here's how it looks. So at 2:30, it'll be Notre Dame against Capistrano Valley. Man, Notre Dame's got a really good team. At 4 o'clock, Roosevelt against Temecula Valley, Jeff. That's like a heavyweight fight.
Yes,
right there.
very much so.
At 5:30, Damien against Great Oak. Your boy Tim Cook and Austin Cook, right? Austin Cook, big stud for Damien.
Yeah, and his small shorts. He's got the smallest shorts ever.
He does. He likes the short shorts.
Yes, Coach Leduc does.
and of course at 7 o'clock, Pauly and King. So Coach, a lot of great teams, all in the same place, all in one day at Pauly High School. How'd this kind of come together?
Just as a result of, the relationships that, I have with the various coaches and programs, I knew that we wanted to put together a single-day event, and we were looking for this particular week on the Saturday before we go back to school and before the league starts. There's a lot of single-day events that are going on all across Southern California. I think we're the only ones who are, in the Inland Empire. And, the most recent Press Enterprise County rankings, 3 of the top 4 teams in Roosevelt and us and Notre Dame will be there. And Great Oak, I think, was ranked 8. And Notre Dame is playing Capistrano Valley, who's the defending CIF champion in their division. I think they were 2A last year, and they have 4 of 5 starters back, and they're sitting at 14-2. And you have perennial successful programs in Temecula Valley and Great Oak who are taking on, defending state champion Roosevelt and a perennial open team in Damien. And then, the final game between ourselves and King, hoping it's going to be a packed house and a lot of great basketball, good coaching, hopefully a lot of good energy in the building, and it should be a fun day.
Yeah, if Jeff and I weren't on the road with UCR basketball, this is the kind of thing that you could just go plop down and sit there and watch
all
game after
day.
game. I mean, these are great matchups with really good teams.
Yes, and it's only only $8, and that's a big deal because when you look around at these other single-day events that are charging $15 or $5 and $5 a park as well. We think it's a good, financial deal as well. $8 to see some really good teams and some really good basketball.
Well, that's some fantastic basketball. Again, it's the Winter Showcase at Riverside Pauly High School. First game at 2:30, and then at 7 o'clock, Pauly and King. So if you're a local basketball fan, that's a real juicy mashup between the Bears and the Wolves.
Go Bears!
Yes, go Bears.
Coach Dodson, we always appreciate the time. We'll talk more tennis with you again as you are the front runner now in the most number of appearances as a guest here on the show. We appreciate that.
I will always maintain that lead, guys, for sure.
We'll bring you back just so you can stay on top.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Coach. That's Coach Yancy Dodson, head basketball coach at Riverside Pauly. So he was a stud, but he'd let you hit the ball once in a while on the tennis court.
He did. I'm telling you what, he was always very gracious. He was a good baseball player. We played everything together growing up. We also made it to the state championship in the Elks free throw shooting. Yeah, I just pulling another one out. Yancy was a year or 2 years older than I was, and he won the Elks club for his age group, and we went up to the state championship. And I won for my age group state championship. We got honored and got thks nice little plaques that said Elk State Championship run. It was cool.
Fancy
was Yancy. He was awesome.
Did he coach tennis at all? I should have asked him. You probably know
I'm sure he has.
At the high school level, did he coach any tennis anywhere?
Yeah, I think he might have coached at Pauly in one of his many stints over there at Pauly. But, he was also over teaching at King High School, so he knows all those guys at King, and they're playing them tomorrow night. So, no, what a great guy. I've known him since we were little bitty kids, little guys.
Big Winter Showcase, Riverside Pauly, 4 games back to back with Pauly and King playing at 7 o'clock. When we come back, we'll dive back into the UC Riverside basketball conversation. A big thanks to Justin Bell, who joined us earlier in the show. Jeff and I will get you set for the Highlanders and the Gauchos coming up on Saturday night. We'll be right back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM.
I played once upon a time at Centennial High School. I was actually on the first ever CIF championship team back in 2000, and then my senior year we won it again. I tell you that's my passion because I've done it. I know exactly where these athletes are at. I know what their mindset is right now. I know how hard it is to, number one, find a performance coach who can take you to the next level. What sets us apart has to be, how we work with our athletes and what we know. We can take an athlete and help them reach their athletic potential, help them, prevent injuries, help get them stronger. I know every single athlete who steps into this gym. I know exactly where they're at, and I'm going to progress them every week. If you're not getting results, then, really what's it about? We're going to deliver something that's measurable, in terms of speed, power, strength, agility.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Hey, welcome back. It's the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. I'm Pep Fernandez. That's Jeff Gorham. Every single weekday of your life from 3 to 6 p.m., bringing you nothing but the good stuff here in the Inland Empire. Jeff's going to bring in the weekend with a trip to Disneyland.
Yeah, we're going to Disneyland. Big Johnny. Johnny's 5 years old today. Johnny. Yeah, in fact, the entire family, the three boys, Carla Smedberg and myself, the newborn boys, we all have light-up shoes today. Yeah, my lovely wife at Christmas, Santa brought, I should say, not my wife, but Santa brought 5 pair of shoes, and they all light up. They're called, I guess my older son said, they're Yeezys.
They look like Yeezys.
They
look like, what, $400? I don't know.
Yeah, these are definitely. But
are those the Kanye West shoes?
Yeah,
I would never buy those.
I would not. But anyways, we got these cool. Santa brought these shoes, and they light up on the soles. And
it's a Christmas miracle.
It is a Christmas miracle. So the entire Gorham family tonight will be walking around Disneyland or California Adventure wearing our lighted shoes. So I won't lose track of anybody, even baby Zika. In his tiny little feet, he's like doll feet.
Oh, he's got little lighted
yeah. Same color? Oh yeah, you can sync them. There's a remote that comes with the shoes.
Man.
Yeah, it's Big Johnny's birthday. 5 years old. We're gonna go hang out today. He said I'm 5. I can go on Matterhorn, and he's gonna go on Soaring Over the World.
Is there really an age thing with those rides?
In his brain, it is.
Oh, in his brain.
Yeah, and he
I was like, I didn't know there was like an age. Those rides.
Just put it this way: we're season pass holders, so we go all the time, and we'll walk by rides. And go, I'll go on that one. I'm 4, and then he said, I'll go on that one. I'm 5. So he woke up this morning. He walked around the house because he went to preschool this morning. He walked around the house. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm looking to see if there's anything different now that I'm 5 years old."
It all changes.
It all changes. And so he walked. He's looking in the. He walked into our closet, and I said, "Still messy." But he goes, "I just wanted to see if anything's different with 5-year-old eyes." So today, this morning, he goes, "Dad, we're going to go on Matterhorn, and we're going to go on Soaring Over the World." I said, "How about Space Mountain?" Not when I'm 7. I'll go when I'm 7.
That's a 7-year-old ride.
That's what he said. Yeah. So
that's about right.
But I looked. It's like 90+%. Yeah, my family's already down there. I'm taping the show. We're here. We're gonna be here till 6. I'm gonna drive down, and then 6 o'clock. I figure the traffic will be done. Then I can go down and I'll hang out for a couple hours.
See, but the only good thing about this is at least it's not the middle of summer where it's like 95 degrees and you're standing in line and it's hot and miserable. I mean, at least it's nice out. You know what I mean? Like you got passes. You don't have to feel like you have to squeeze every single ride. And I know, hey, happy birthday, Johnny, birthday boy. It's a birthday. But I know he's probably supposed to do certain rides, so you got to get those rides for Johnny. But you don't have to get everything in there.
No, but my shoes, I have to walk around regardless, I still run into people and they're gonna go, "Hey, Jeff!"
Look at Jeff.
They're gonna say, "Hey, how you doing?" Then they're gonna glance down at my feet and they're gonna go, "What the hell are you wearing, Jeff?" And I'm going to go, "Yes.
Big nerd.
Santa brought me these shoes, and they glow in unison with my other 4 people. But at least I don't. Yeah, at least I don't have to be there all day. My family's there during the day. I won't be there till 7+ at night.
Yeah, but you're going to get there, and your wife's going to be, like, losing her mind. Like, where have you been? The kids are driving me nuts.
I'm telling you, man, I was doing my job. I was just doing my job.
The IE needed you.
Yes, needed me more than Disneyland. But I'll be there in spirit, and then they'll go on a few rides, and I'll push.
Yeah, tell that to your wife. See how it goes over. I was with you in spirit. I just don't get it.
I'll push the baby around in the stroller. And
people watch.
Right? Yeah, eat.
Yeah, they got good food at Disneyland.
Yeah,
the best food ever.
Now, Jeff, do you ever wander off like without your family at Disneyland?
Are you kidding me? I got a leash. My wife puts a leash on my neck. Smedberg puts a leash around my neck.
It's like one of those little backpacks that the kids wear. It's like,
yeah,
like a little teddy bear.
I have my own.
And they hold the little kids so they don't run off. That's what Jeff has.
Yeah, because if I went off by myself, I'd be eating the corn dogs. I go to the candy shop. I mean, there's just food everywhere at Disneyland. I love more than anything. Not more than my family, but right up there, food.
food and shoes that light up.
Yeah.
That's choreographed with the rest of the family. Those are two things that Jeff loves.
Just punch me in the face really hard, please.
It's really hard. It hurts really bad.
Really hard. No, it's going to be fun. I can't wait. The happiest place happiest place ever on earth. Is that what they say?
Happiest place
on
earth. Yeah. The Magic Kingdom. But see, here's why I'm concerned about you.
Why are you concerned?
Because we're calling the UC Riverside game on Saturday night against UC Santa Barbara.
Excited.
But you're going to be zonked. You're going to be so tired.
Are you kidding me? I'm going to sleep into like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be skipping. And you're going to be getting in my car, and I'm going to talk to you for another. We talk every day for 3 hours.
Oh, man.
We have to.
I bet our car ride's going to be really quiet. I got a feeling it's going to be like silence.
I'm going to be playing country because you like country music.
Bring it on.
I'm going to find some country music. I only listen to Michael Jackson or Steve Miller. That's it. But listen, we got 3 hours up and 3 hours back, and it's a 9 o'clock game, and it's not on ESPN3. It's on ESPNU.
Wonderful.
That's big time. So anybody that wants, look, if you don't even listen, you know what you can do is listen to us on GoHighlanders.com. Listen to the call because we're at least funnier than the TV guys. Do you agree?
Funnier.
We are. So if you want to listen to the game and listen to,
Wait, hold on. What would it take for you to wear your shoes that light up with your suit tomorrow night? We're going to wear suits, right? We're not doing polo. We're going to
suits. Man, I would be really cheesy. Maybe. I'll do it for a home game.
Yeah, wear the shoes that light up with your suit to a UC Riverside basketball
I will
game.
do it for a home game. Only for a home game. I'm not doing it at Santa Barbara. I don't want to end up getting in a fist fight because somebody says something about my shoes that doesn't know me.
Tortillas at your head. Who's the weirdo with the blinking shoes?
Yeah, but if you watch ESPNU, turn on your TV, and then listen to us on GoHighlanders.com, and you can simulcast it, I guess, right? Would that be the correct term?
Yeah.
And listen to us. We're much better anyways.
So it's the second Big West Conference game of the season. Obviously, on Wednesday night against Fullerton, we saw that unfold. There's an unfortunate, tough loss for the Highlanders. Now they go on the road again to UC Santa Barbara. That's I'd say a long trip. It's a long drive. It's a long drive up there. It's a tough place to play, the Thunderdome. It's a late game at 9 o'clock. Could a late game, Jeff, affect in terms of just the preparation, the routine you have before tip-off?
Yes, unless you're practicing at 9 o'clock every single day, and most of those guys are in bed by 9 because they're college students.
Well, even if you have a game at 7, the game's over by 9.
Yeah.
Like the game is over, and they're just getting ready to tip off.
And to be honest, it probably won't start till about 9:30 because it is a TV game, so there's probably a double or triple header on ESPNU. So you better hope, or we better hope, that game is over before 9. So that we can start exactly at 9.
We should look up who's right before it.
Yeah, but hey,
keep an eye on that one.
A couple of numbers here about the game. UC Riverside's 0-23 up at Thunderdome. They've never won.
They've never won at UC Santa Barbara?
They have never won. They've played 42 previous times, only winning 9 of those 42.
But none of them at the Thunderdome, UC Santa Barbara.
None of them have been won on UC Santa Barbara's home floor.
Wow.
So
no, I didn't even know that. Did John Maxwell send you notes?
No, I just know everything.
Oh, you did.
I'm omnipotent. What are you talking about? But there's a couple things that stand out. This is their 4th road game in a row. Which is it's really tough because you want to play at home because at home UC Riverside puts up almost 74 points a game. On the road, they're only averaging 60 points a game. So that's a 14-point turnaround. They're giving up 77 points a game, and on the road, 63 points a game. So it's a 17-point
kind of
differential.
A mixed bag right there.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough. They're playing a really good UC Santa Barbara team, that lost last night on the last 0.3 seconds left on the shot clock. Guy shoots up a 3, gets fouled.
Have you ever seen anything like that? I'm like a 50-footer. That's like what, mid-court or beyond mid-court?
Yes. And why would you foul the guy? Let him shoot. Take the odds. So they foul the guy. The guy hits 3 free throws. They were up 2, and
that's the clutch life. The guy from Cal Poly who went to the free throw line knowing the game was going to be decided. He had a chance to either lose it, tie it, or win it, and he won it. The guy's probably like king. He's a king on campus today.
Yes, he is. And Riverside really has had their issues on giving up the offensive rebounds. They've got to shore that up. They're giving up just because they've given up so many offensive rebounds. Teams have put up 45 more shots this year on the season because of those missed opportunities, getting the defensive rebound.
And it makes sense. If you have more opportunities, you're going to score more points.
Yeah, I mean, just 45 more attempts because they've given up the offensive glass. That in itself, they need to fix that. Defensively, they showed a lot of man-to-man. If they go to the man, they need to really talk help side man-to-man defense, and they should be pretty good because they are playing pretty hard, that is.
DJ Sylvester made his third start of the season for UCR, poured in a career-high 24 points against Fullerton. And we touched on it, Jeff, but it's worth revisiting the fact that he's probably carved himself out a spot in that starting five going forward for head coach Justin Bell.
Well, yeah, he should, and they've really set themselves up pretty well. They have got, Chance Murray has been playing primarily the point guard, bringing the ball up the floor. Dikembe Martin, you can't steal the ball from him. But like we said, I think Chance Murray sees the floor pretty well, better right now at this point because Dikembe Martin is scoring. He's averaging 13 points a game. He's scoring the ball. So you got to use him more of a scoring role. So he's playing a lot of two. But DJ Sylvester's so athletic, and he's able to guard very quick guards. So you can put, if one of those guys are in foul trouble, DK or Chance Murray, you can put DJ Sylvester on one of the quicker point guards, and that will help you defensively.
What do you think UCR has to do on tomorrow night against the Gauchos to get that first ever win at UC Santa Barbara? That's a staggering stat that they've never won at Thunderdome. I mean, it's a tough place to play, but you would think at some point down the road they would have picked them off at one of those games, but it's just never happened.
Well, last game they shored up. Their biggest problem was they were giving up three. They gave up 27 3-pointers in the first half of both their games, 13 against Utah Valley, 14 versus Seattle, 3-pointers. In the first half of Cal State Fullerton game, they gave up 0. So if they can continue to play that good perimeter defense by playing solid man-to-man defense, and that's what hurt them last game, is they played really well, but they had so many spots in their man-to-man rotation. There wasn't help side. They got beat to the basket, and they gave up too many easy layups. You cannot give up easy layups to a very older UC Santa Barbara team that has 2 graduate transfers in the lineup.
That could be a big difference, right? These guys have been around the block. They're seasoned. They've seen a lot of different, situations. With all that experience under their belt, I mean, that could play a factor, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, anytime, and I know I've talked to the UCR coaching staff, we were talking about graduate transfers, and they said that they would love to be able to get those kind of kids in. UC Riverside right now doesn't allow that. But some of the other UC schools, like UC Santa Barbara, is depending on the school, will accept these transfers. Those guys are seasoned. They've played basically 3 years in a program and been very successful. They've graduated, and they come in and they're mature. They're usually good team guys because they were able to transfer in. Coaches will take them based on if they're good guys, good citizens. And it's tough when you have guys that are 23 years old, 24 sometimes.
Let's say an 18-year-old, 19-year-old.
And they have a team that was really good last year, but they sustained academic ineligibility. They lost 3 guys to grades last year, and their best player, who's now back, had a torn ACL. So they can score the basketball, and they come into the, right now they're 11-4, which is the best in the Big West. UC Davis comes in at 10-5, but 11-4 looks pretty good.
Were they last year in conference?
They were last because of the academic problems, and they just didn't get it together. They just didn't have any scoring ability, and Riverside got them. We might see Mitch Kupchak at the game tomorrow night
because his son plays, right? For
yes,
UC Santa
in fact,
Barbara.
last year.
Well, he's on the team. Does he play?
He does play.
I looked up his stats. I mean,
he plays
a little bit. Yeah,
he played a lot last year. They had to play him. I mean, he started last year for him, so
there wasn't a lot of guys on the end of the bench, right?
There was nobody at the end of the bench, but we might see Mitch Kupchak. So I might have a little hero envy.
I've interviewed him before.
You have?
Mitch Kupchak?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He yelled at my son and then called him back.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Connor saw him last year, and he goes, "Hey, Mr. Kupchak, can I have an autograph?" And Connor was wearing a
Clippers
shirt,
Clipper right?
jersey. He's "Get away from me, kid!" And then Connor walked away, and he goes, "No, get over here," and asked him his name, and then signed it, and then he put "To my favorite Clipper fan, Connor Gorham, Mitch Kupchak." And then,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then when we saw him after we were walking out, he said, "Hey, Connor," and he remembered his name. I'm like,
"Oh, he did?"
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, Connor, next time I see you, I want to see you wearing a Laker jersey." And I was like, "Oh, that's a pretty good guy."
That's really cool.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, he was fired the day before. That was the day after he was fired.
Are you serious?
Yes. And he came down and showed up.
He was still promoting the Lakers.
He was still, Laker true and true. I thought it was cool. So, yeah, he got fired from the Lakers.
We'll get him a Lopez jersey.
Yeah, Brooke Lopez. No love for Brooke. You know, I would love to get Brooke Lopez on the show and ask him about that. We'll get Connor on the show.
Do you think he'll even remember that kid at Disneyland?
It doesn't matter. We're still going to get him on. We'll confront him. I would love to hear. I want an apology. An apology and maybe a signed jersey or hang out, go to Disneyland with my kid.
Well, you're going back to Disneyland tonight. It's near capacity. Who are you going to run into tonight?
Somebody, and they're going to say, nice shoes, Jeff. Nice shoes.
All right, we come back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. We're going to wrap this up, and we'll send you into the weekend feeling good, and then we'll preview what we're going to talk about next week coming up on Monday. There's another big week of Inland Empire sports, and all the breaking news and exclusive interviews you can find right here on the Inland Sports Show, and make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. Stay up to date on what's going on with Inland Sports. We'll be right back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
I am ready. Roll.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Corum.
Man, what a week. We had Welcome to Lithuania, the song that's sweeping the globe right now.
Sweeping the globe in Lithuania, and it needs to go back to the Baltic Sea.
We had that. We had Tanner McKee setting the record straight, the Centennial quarterback, live from San Antonio. All the stuff going on at UCR with the coaching switch. Well, there's some other breaking news. Oh, Coach Algadas from San Bernardino Valley College dropping some names here on the show.
Big Riverside Inland Empire names joining his staff.
It's funny because a lot of people were asking me, Derek Johnson from Notre Dame, hey, have you heard where Coach Johnson's going to end up at? And I was like, really? No, I haven't. He's been kind of under the radar, laying low.
But we heard yesterday.
He's going to be coaching the corners, the quarterbacks at San Bernardino Valley College. So it's been a great week. We've had a lot of fun. It's all brought to you by our good friends at Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. You'll be spoiled by great customer service and low prices. You get the flour and the mint as well. Ken Sporting Goods, more than 40 years right here in our own backyard in the Inland Empire. They have all your sporting gear needs. You can go check them out for that, and also your Letterman's jacket as well. KinSportingGoods.com. Boost Performance Training in Corona with Coach Ray Bass. All the different sports, he'll train you up. Plus the new overtime program for like the younger athletes getting ready for high school sports. It's a big jump. It's a big jump, Jeff.
What's it called?
The overtime program.
I thought it would be for the senior in you.
That's for you, Jeff.
Okay, good.
And Catalano Motors in Corona off Temescal Canyon Road. You can buy, trade, and finance. Check out CatalanoCars.com. All right, Jeff, coming up next week, we're getting closer to the Inland Empire All-Star Classic coming up January 13th. That's next Saturday night, Centennial High School, 33rd annual. And it's the longest-running high school football all-star game in California. So you know we're going to talk a lot more about that. We're also going to continue to hype up the Mr. Football Award in the Inland Empire, going to the top high school football player in the IE. We will name them, you will say like next Friday, it would be the day before the IE All-Star Classic.
Sounds good. And we also have 2 UC Riverside men's basketball games, both at home next week.
Finally back home.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to see somebody at home. We've been on the road for a while.
What was it? Utah Valley, then Seattle, right?
Yes.
To finish up non-conference, and then at Fullerton this week, and then Santa Barbara Saturday night.
We got Long Beach State next Saturday.
So those are 2 big ones.
Yes.
So speaking of next Saturday, so I'll be at the IE All-Star Classic. You'll be with UC Riverside. We're split up.
We are again. But after the game is over, I'm going to run over and see the end of that football game.
You should. The people want to see you.
I will be there. Maybe I'll wear my lightest shoes.
I was just going to say that. Just going to say that. Yeah, you should wear your shoes so we know when you can make a big grand entrance. Be like, hey, here comes Jeff. We can see him a mile away.
Who's that guy walking around?
I think he's sleeping outside. Blinking all the way through the gates and onto the field.
I'll do it.
It's the great Jeff Gorham.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun next week. We also we're going to have Cal Baptist University women's golf. They're everyone's really good at CBU, but they're really good.
Ranked,
and they're just getting set to tee off on their season coming up.
Nice.
We're going to get them in studio to kind of preview. Again, it's everyone's last year as a full Division II member at CBU before they usher in the new Division I era as that transition continues for the Lancers. So we'll have CBU women's golf next week. Efforting some surprise guests as well. Love to get Derek Johnson in here. We just dropped his name to talk about going to Valley College.
Great game. I know we'll probably have Rick Croy in here talking about the Cal Baptist men's basketball.
Rick Croy, they're off to another great start. I'm going to assume, I haven't looked at their schedule. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm assuming they're going to hit the road pretty soon because they've had a lot of home games.
But just play every game in that arena. That'd be good.
Tell everyone, you got to come to us. We got the best place.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you go to the friend's house who has the nicest house and all the nice things.
Yes.
Like maybe they have a pool table, a ping pong table. They got a pool in the backyard.
Yeah.
Like everyone goes to their house. Nobody wants to go to my house. I got nothing over there. Everyone goes to the friend's house that has everything. CBU's that friend that has everything.
Yes.
That's where everyone goes.
Yeah, I'd like to go swimming over there occasionally if I could.
It's going to be a big week of local sports. I hope you'll join us. It's every single weekday, 3 to 6 p.m. The one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.